What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, May 25th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. A winning day yesterday, but barely. 5-4 overall sports, plus 0.49 units. Mavericks minus 1.5 was extremely easy. Now, I did make a decision that, if I was going to cash on this, and I would just bet them again in game 5. And I was surprised that I was getting plus 270. So I just bet it right away. I did not expect a plus 270. I don't expect it to move to plus 300. I thought plus 235 was around the right price. And lately, when I've seen the opening line on a basketball game or a hockey game and thought that's wrong and have not moved right away, it's hurt me. It's moved 25 or 30 cents in the opposite direction, and I should have bet it right away. So I just bet it right away. So I am on the Mavs plus 270 in game 5. If every obviously it's not likely. That's why they're 7.5 point underdogs, and the Warriors haven't lost at home. And I know the story as well as you guys do. But the Mavs cashed for us. The first 2 bets I made yesterday on the card before the show, Astros first 5 -1, Astros full game -1.5, were easy cashers. Unfortunately, I went 2 and 4 with the rest of my action. Colorado, Pittsburgh first 5 under 4 cashed. Reds first 5 was atrocious. Boston, Chicago White Sox first 5 under 4. I don't know why. I know that Jose liked the over, and not because he thought the Red Sox were going to put up 8 runs in the first 3 innings, but he liked the over. And when he's on the opposite side, I should just stay off. I don't know why I still carried through. White Sox first 5 -1/2 was a loss. Diamondbacks first 5 -1 was a loss. Upsetting. They were there and covered it in the 6th inning, but Gallen has not looked good now 2 starts in a row, and I don't know why I went back to the well with Gallen there. And the Mariners first 5 -1/2, I was fortunate to cash. So that is the situation here. I guess any day in the black is a good day. I'm still angry about the Preakness. I'm still watching, Epicenter get cut off twice and Rosario not forcing the issue. I don't know why. And I guess at that point, once you've been cut off twice, going to the rail, I guess, for a ground saving trip, I guess makes sense. But I just don't understand for the life of me why you wouldn't, do what you've done in every other race that you've succeeded in and force the issue. Make sure you're in a good spot on the outside. You were supposed to be in a good spot on the outside. So I'm still angry. And it was a terrible day on Saturday. Like we were alive for 11.5 hours and I was losing for 11.5 hours. So I'm still angry about that, and that hasn't gone away. But the Mavs did make me feel a little better. Shout out to everybody joining us. We got Vinny in the house. Dennis Garcia says Calgary broke my heart. I don't know what you're supposed to do when you can't trust your goaltender. And Markstrom's play, 20 seconds in, was as horrific as any play to start a game. I can't even imagine. I mean, it's just your worst possible case scenario. And he had the defenseman wide open there. And I guess it's very tough to play when you have no faith in your goaltender. And Markstrom has just been atrocious. And I didn't bet the game at all, the NHL game. And I came so close to taking McDavid under 1.5 points at plus 125. And he, got the empty netter, right? Or was in on the empty netter. So he did cover it with like 30 seconds left, which still is, which I would have had to go for a walk at that point. But I would have seen it coming. I would have knew it was coming, and then I would have just had to go for a walk. But I hear you, Dennis. It's tough. Fap win, got paid yesterday with the Angels and the Mavericks. Nice job. Yenny Toon looking at UEFA European Conference Final, AC Roma. Viper NB in the house. There's Clint Starr, the diehard MMA podcast, says he thinks his Flames future ticket is dead. It sucks. It sucks when you get in at such a good price. I mean, Dennis got in at 35-1. I mean, coming into the playoffs, there was no better future ticket on the board than what Dennis had found during the year. that 35-1. So trust me, the feeling I know very well. And, you're in a tough spot, but teams come back from 3-1 and win Stanley Cups, and come back from 3-1 and make it to Stanley Cup Finals. So you're going home for Game 5. Take it one game at a time. Thank you, Viper, about the Mavs. Viper on the Avs -1.5. I don't bet hockey, but I think they roll here. Well, we're going to talk about that game with Mr Gogster here very, very soon. Sammy Comer, Oz B in the house. There's Danny Lopez. Says, morning, fellas, listening while on the road. Hell of a night last night. Let's eat. Drive safe, Danny Lopez. My guy. Okay. Michael Evelina with some thoughts there for Jose. I get it, but Jose's, being spectacular this year. So, but we can always improve. Yenny Toon says, I think Roma will get it done in under 90 minutes. D. Jenkins ready to go. There's Slatsy. I missed him yesterday. 3-1 last night on Avs and over 5.5 parlay at +112. Would I prefer the Lightning playing the Canes or Rangers? God, that's a good question. And I've thought about it too, and I don't have an answer. I don't know. They're such different hockey teams. I guess I'd prefer them playing the Rangers. Yeah, I'd prefer them playing the Rangers. But not by that much. Michael Ervelina ready to get to work. Kyle Hintlian ready to go. Wine Time Sports. Sammy Calmer. What a great group. Christopher commenting says, what happened to Cease? Yeah, that was ugly. Red Girl ready to go. Mark Schillingberg in the house. Almost a giant night, but we know there's one coming for you. Barry Roselle ready to work. Mark Schillingberg, Chief, Nasty Nate, just been running hot ever since he became the Cornhole champion. He's been running hot. Yenny Toon saying something very, very important. And one thing that we do here on our show is we try to take you away from everything that's going on out there. And we'll always do that. That's always what we want to do. So I don't even want to talk about the horror that happened yesterday. I want us to come here together. So many of us have young children. I just want us to come here together and talk sports and love sports and think about sports, and that's it. That's all I want us to do. So because you're asking for it, yeah, what's up, Jose?
My one thing on that would be people in San Antonio, go donate blood. I'm going to go donate blood later today. So donate blood because they need it. So go do that.
Yeah, and it touches the company. It touches us all. And of course, because you asked for it, anything, I would never say no to anything like that. So, yeah, it was just, as horrific as anything gets in life is what happened yesterday. And so, sure. Let's take a moment right now. All right, we got Joe Rich Ramirez in the house. JPZ, AOD, Slatsy, 45. Nasty Nate had 3 units on the Oilers. That was a great call. JPZ all over the Oilers. We had LJ from H-Town all over the Oilers. Let's get to Dennis says can't spell Markstrom without rat. Oh no, it's come to this, Dennis. Thank you for putting a smile on our faces. We need it. There's LJ from H-Town. Great work. Christopher Comentini said Epstein went second to last. Imagine if he would have been run right out of the gate. I don't know. I'm not certain, Christopher Comentini, because obviously, he saved a ton of ground. It's just pressure had to be put on early voting, and it just sucks. I was just really, really confident, and anytime you're really confident in a gambling situation, you lose, it really hurts, and I just I'm not over it. Days have gone by, and I'm not over it. Uncle Oliver, great to see you. Marlins first 5, Padres money line, Atlanta and Phillies over. I like it. I'm on Marlins. Oh, no. I'm on the Padres first 5. So I am on that with you. Okay, let's get to work. Control Your Vessel says, tailed a Dabby Cab on the Padres over 2.5. Can't believe it didn't hit. Still love the bet. Yeah, it hurts when those come through. It hurts. It hurts when you love your situation and then it doesn't come through. There's Dutch Boy Fresh. Can we have Dutch Boy Fresh on the show tomorrow and catch him on Pub Hub today? Dutch is on the Rays first 5 under 3.5 at plus 100. A look I definitely get. Nutflush Hound says, imagine the feeling I still have from the PGA on Sunday. Yes. Nutflush had a 150 to 1 ticket. It hurts. Nasty Nate says one asshole he was for going up the Sox yesterday. Unfortunately, I was the same way. Okay, we got to get to work together. Thank you guys all for joining us. Michael Overlina on the Avs minus 2.5 in an elimination game. No Binnington, no chance. We're going to talk about that right now. Right now. And thank you all for joining us. There's Matty Ice in the house. Great catcher for Matty Ice last night. Stimmy OG ready to go. Robert Franklin, thank you guys for joining us. All right, it is time to talk NHL and bring on the pride of Belleville, Ontario, our guy and yours, Mr. Gogster in the house. Gogster, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Jimmy, everyone else in the chat, thanks for having me on as always, brother. Let's get after it. How about them Oilers, though, guys? Let's fucking go. They're Markstrom. You guys are saying it. There he is.
McJesus, baby! McJesus! All the way! We're doing it! For Canada!
Helmet and all. Let's fucking go. Tell him, Jose. Yeah, I know. What a game it was last night. Markstrom, I can't spell Markstrom without putting Rat in there. Dennis is, I can see that. He's got troubles against this team. And there's another team this game, guys, that might have some troubles going in net, one of their backups. So let's get into her, Jim.
A backup that you were extremely high on.
Yeah, he looked good in the regular season, right? He looked good in the regular season. Holy Christ, he's having a tough time here.
Let's get to work right now on it. Vinny saying that Avs line is going to get pounded. Let's go right now. 8 p.m. Eastern, West second round, Game 5. Colorado leading the series 3-1, and it'll be pretty glorious. It'll be the best future shape I've been in 5 years. Colorado takes care of business here. I've already got the Lightning on the other side.
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. You're laughing.
I am.
What do you got the numbers at, Jimmy?
Not great. 7-1 and 4.5-1. But I also have the conference on both.
Yep.
3.5-1 and 1.6-1.
Well, look at us. I got Carolina to win the conference and the Stanley Cup. So we got 3 out of the 4, it looks like. It's
nice. It's a nice feeling to be in, and it's a perfect gambling situation because I can put, especially if the Oilers make it through, they'll be decent sized dogs. I can just put like $100 parlay Oilers to win the West and whoever's playing the Lightning to win the East, and
come on,
that'll 100 maybe 200 whatever it is, but that'll cover everything and more. So it's a pretty nice situation to be in. JA saying Avalanche team total over. Danny Toon liking the over in the first period. We're in Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Let's start with the line history in this game here. A big one. We have the Avs opening up at minus 245.
Wow.
They went to minus 250 and then back to minus 245. I thought, it's easy not to bet the Avalanche when you've got futures on them, but I've just thought that the market just is a little out of whack and the Avs shouldn't be this big of a favorite. And this total sitting at 6.5 is at a pick'em, has not moved since the opening line. We have Husso in net. In the regular season, he was very good. 25, 7, and 6, 2.56 goals against average, 919 save percentage. Come playoff time, why is it that it's only the Russian goalies of the European crew that step up? I don't know. But Husso in the playoffs, 1-4, 3.76 goals against average, 884 save percentage, 1 shutout. Darcy Kemper has been playing to similar numbers that he played in the regular season. He had a 921 save percentage regular season. He's got 917 save percentage here. The thing about the number for the Avs that I think is out of whack is just because the Blues power play is so good. and the Avs penalty killing has been so weak.
Both
You
of
have a
them.
team with a power play at 35.3% in the playoffs, and that's the St. Louis Blues. Now, yes, the Avalanche are 33.0%, but when you have a team at a 35.3% power play clip, I don't know how they could be this big dogs in any situation with their backs against the wall. We've seen what Ryan O'Reilly and David Perron can do with their backs against the walls. Let me just set up a little bit more for you before you take over. Colton Parayko has been excellent. He would be the number one defenseman. I mean, Cale Makar would get all the glory, but Colton Parayko would be the defenseman on Team Canada that we would have. That would be the Rock.
Big boy. Yeah.
That would have to be on the ice against, the Ovechkin line when we played Russia, or, I want to say the Robertson line for America, but there's so many different weapons.
Yeah.
So many different weapons the Americans have, and he's been so good in this series. And when they likely get knocked out here, it's not on Parayko. He's got 2 goals, 3 assists. He's a +7. Nobody else. There's 1 +4 on that team. So that's Nick Leddy. You want to talk about Robert Thomas? He was a -5 in games 3 and 4 at home. You have Buchnevich, Schenn, and Robert Thomas have combined for 1 goal in the playoffs. And you can say Bucci's got a bunch of assists, okay, but Schenn and Robert Thomas are doing nothing. Perron, O'Reilly, Parayko are doing everything for them, and we thought that they had depth at forward, and if Robert Thomas and Braden Schenn are going to do squat ass nothing, well, then they don't have a depth. I've not moved on this game. I just want the Avs to get through, but I can't wait to hear your take. How are you betting this? Take it away, Mr. Gogster. We have the West second round, Game 5, Colorado up 3-1.
All right, guys. Game 5 in the West here. Let's rock and roll. Let's do this thing. Vinny Husso, look great. He's just got problems here going forward. The one thing, though, guys, is goal. I like looking at. I did this last year, Jimmy. Expected goals against. The expected goals against have been 2.8, 2.4, 1.9 for St. Louis after Game 2. Colorado after Game 2, 1.3, 1.5, 2.45. Very low expected goals. Despite that just tells me the goalie situation for Ville Husso there. He's allowed 4 goals, expected 1.5, allowed 5 goals and 2.4 expected. So he's got a lot of problems there when it comes to I don't know if he just doesn't look the same. He just does not look the same right now, Husso. Kemper on the other end, he's been fine. One thing, guys, Samuel Girard, he's out, Jim. He's been, I think something happened with his spleen, something bad there. He's out.
Broken sternum.
Sternum, that's what it was, the sternum right in the old chest there. So, that addition, though, of Manson looks really good now. Getting Manson there on the back end, he's been able to fill that spot. The 2 Johnsons there. And who else we got there? Then you got Makar and Taves. So, and then Byram's with the other Johnson. They're very strong. They're healthy right now, Colorado. The line is out of sorts, though, Jim. I do agree. I wanted to take Colorado -1, pull one out of your old hat there and do a -1. I do think they get it done. Other than Perron and even O'Reilly's kind of slowed down of late. He was really hot. I was saying last week he had 5 goals in 7 games, something like that. It's also with St. Louis here. The coaches are saying there they know they can win looking at Game 2's outcome, but Jimmy, that outcome was with Binghamton and net when they won 4-1. It's just it's completely different, guys. Y'all know what it's like with a goalie. It's like having like a really good starting pitcher or a quarterback or whatever it may be. It's just the most important position, especially in playoff hockey, is your goalie. And if Husso I don't see Husso standing on his head here. Last thing Colorado wants to do is take this to Game 7 if they do end up losing this one and then having to go to St. Louis. So with that being said, Jimmy, I don't like what I'm seeing from St. Louis. The penalty kills, though, road home splits, guys, on the playoffs, 68% penalty kills St. Louis, 60% for Colorado. Both teams, there's going to be problems there, I think, on the back end. So I do like the over, despite it being 6.5. It's going to be a desperate spot for St. Louis. Could see the goalie pulled really early. St. Louis is going to they're going to be balls to the wall, whatever you want to say here. They're going to be going right. They're going to go at Colorado, and the only way they're going to beat them, Jimmy, is it's got to be scoring. They know that Husso's going to do his best, but Colorado's they got to get up like 3-1. They got to score St. Louis. So I do like the over 6.5. You know what, Jim? I'm going to take that over 6.5 because just based on the line, it's -107. Colorado, you get that -1. What it's going to be like -140, 150. So I'm going to take the over here, guys, 6.5. I do think we're going to see some goals, even though I did say those expected goals were low. They're still scoring despite. So if those expected goals go up, I don't see the goalies getting any better in this situation. The only thing that would worry me is if Colorado just defensively just shuts these guys down. But you know what? They had nine guys that were 20 goal scorers in the regular season. They got depth, St. Louis. So I think I'm going to trust St. Louis to score a bit here, but Colorado more likely than not get her done. Also, I don't mind both teams to score in the first period, Jimmy. That's plus 143 at one of my books. I'll play that one as well. I'm going to play that one as well, Jim. Plus 143. I do think St. Louis, they've been known to come out hot, especially after getting pretty shellacked there, especially what happened with Kadri, guys. You saw what happened with Kadri. He had a hat trick. You know, they just, it seemed like they were trying to go after Kadri there, Jim. They really kind of lost the game with the whole Kadri scene. So I think they'll be a little more focused too and have a better effort. But with the Husso situation, if they had Binnington and net, you know what? I do think they can win a low scoring game here. But with Husso, I think it's going to be a high scoring game.
And by the way, Mike Liverlina, we have Jose was researching that question, is found some ways to help and a link. So thank you, Michael, for caring about that. This, first off, a couple notes here in the chat. One about David Perron, and that guy has an edge to his game, and it makes him so much bigger than he is. And I think he's a hell of a hockey player. And I didn't realize it when he went back to the Blues. I even this year leading the team score, I believe he was right there leading the team score. I was surprised. He's got an edge to him, and an edge that you need in these tough games in the playoffs. And then you see Robert Thomas, a first round pick, I guess in 2018, who's incapable of doing that at this point in his career. And he'll have all offseason to think about it.
Simple. He can put the puck in the back of the net. Like, he knows how to find those open spots on the ice. He's good at anticipating the puck, and it showed. He had another 2 goals the other night. Yeah.
Billy Freer says Kadri's a dirty player, and goddamn, I want him on my hockey team.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
He's like a Marchand in a way, but no, I wouldn't say it's dirty. He's not going up and licking you or biting your ear, but
he's everything a hockey team needs when it comes to playoff time. So you can call it dirty, you can call it anything you want. I call it, I wish I had him on my hockey team.
He wants to fucking win, that guy.
And the Leafs should never have gotten rid of him. Fucking idiots. That was just another.
Let's leave the Leafs out of here, Jim. Come on.
So you've got, what did you get on both teams to score?
It was plus 140 overnight. Now it's plus 143. So I'll tweet it out just after the show. I haven't tweeted out my action yet. I want to kind of talk about it. But yeah, I do think we're going to see some goals. You could say, it's an elimination game, but I don't see it here. I see this being
there's one other thing I'd like to bring up here, and we'll go over the action. And I hate another spot where I'm like, I'm just hesitant to do anything when I've got this, looks like I'm being a tremendous spot here moving forward with my Avalanche futures. It's the not talked about Jack Johnson enough. And Jack Johnson he came into the lineup for Girard. He played 15 minutes and 7 seconds. And just for those of you who don't know, I would love to see Jack Johnson hold the Stanley Cup over his head. In 2011, he signed a 7-year, $30.5 million contract. On October 7th, 2014, he filed for bankruptcy. And it was his parents.
Yeah, I remember this.
He handed over the power of attorney to his mom, Tina Johnson. And she and her husband, Jack Johnson Sr., borrowed at least $15 million across 18 high-interest loans. Some of the loans with interest rates as high as 24%. And when he would ask about it, they would say, just focus on the money. They bought a Manhattan beach house. They did all this shit. Yeah. And it's one of the stories that isn't talked about enough, because it's not always parents driving you to practice, taking care of you. They also screw you over. And Jack Johnson handled it in a really mature fashion, and he's gotten through it, and he doesn't talk about it publicly. And it's nice to see him get on the ice, and it sucks that he had his parents, of all people, that just fucking him over.
Well, it's good karma's coming back his way. Yeah, 35 years old. He's been around, and good for Jack Johnson.
Yeah. I like your looks. I think there's going to be offense early, but I'm just not certain it comes from the Blues. I just think the Avalanche are going to be playing loose. There's already a ton of emotion in the series.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Like, you just don't want to wake up when you're playing against a big favorite. You don't want to do things to wake them up. What the Blues have done is they've been able to sort of neutralize the McKinnon line. But what have you done? You woke up Kadri, and now they have depth and scoring all the way down their lineup. I like your over, and I like both teams to score. I'm just really hesitant to put any money in play when I think I'm going to be sitting back and making a ton of it here in a second with my futures. So,
like I'm just looking at Rantanen, Landeskog, even Lehkonen coming over from Montreal, great addition. And then even Byerman and Taves, they can pull offense. Yeah, and Nishkin in there, Nichushkin, sorry, didn't have much going on last game. Even a Comper there. No, for the most part, Jim, I trust this because I think St. Louis is they're gonna go all out here. They're gonna I think St. Louis is going to be up in this game at some point, and I think Colorado comes back, to be honest.
Well, then, okay, so if we did want to make a move on it, you have Rod Zwacky, by the way, in the house going for the first period over. If St. Louis is going to throw the kitchen sink at the Avalanche, well, it creates a situation where the Avalanche are going to get odd man rushes and pounce.
Sit on like a 2-2, not sit on it, but 2-1, 3-1. It's hard. It's so tough. You can't sit on it with Colorado, especially at home. They're what you would have thought Florida would have been in the playoffs. Colorado still has the offense. Yeah, you can see McKinnon hasn't done as much. His expected goals last game, Jim, were 0.5, which is really good. Despite Lane, I have a hard time seeing St. Louis winning this game by just kind of with relying as much as you need to rely on your goalie. The team knows, man. They know. Just looking at the numbers, even on the ice, expected goals 1.9 allowed. What do I have here? Expected goals 1.57 allowed 4. Expected goals the next game 2.45 with you, so 5. Like, are we just going to say he's going to figure it out here? No, I don't think so. So,
see, I was doing a sure shot bet on another show, and I was sitting with this game for an hour, and I couldn't find a sure shot bet. And that's what happens to those of you who kept with me for a while, is at times future bets, just all of a sudden I'm a deer in the headlights. Mm-hmm. And that's what I feel like I was now. And Rod Zwacky, who kept me off the Connor McDavid under 1.5 points, and he got the second point on empty netter, I would have lost my shit. So thank you, Rod. You saved me from losing my shit, is what you did. Look, Gogster, I'm very thankful you are on the show because my breakdown of this is boring. I give you a Jack Johnson story of Tina Johnson fucking him over. I'm not going to say horrible things about Tina Johnson, but I'm thinking them. And here,
I got a couple more things there, Jimmy. Just one more thing. First period, though, just little stats for trends. 3 of 4 have gone under in the first period. It's been a slower start to this series, but 3 of 4 Colorado have scored 3 or more goals. One thing about St. Louis, though, on the road, St. Louis, they what do we have here? They're 3-2. They won twice against Minnesota, and then they did win 4-1. But all those games, guys, were with Binnington. When they were winning on the road, it was when Benner came in. So I still have to trust the fact that you don't have your number one goalie. This guy's been really kind of thrown in the mix there, Viel Husso. So let's see some goals, and hopefully these Oilers can make it to the Cup final. Let's go Oil Town. I'm officially an Oil fan. Let's go.
And Slatty says the Blues not addressing the racist remarks thrown at Kadri. I don't know. I did not know about what was said on the ice. But the hate.
I got a quote here, guys. We got where is it here? Police in St. Louis investigate Kadri slander threats.
Yeah, those threats have been coming just from social media and stuff from out there. But then they're horrifying. The fact that this shit goes on is just horrifying.
It's really just super low ball. There's
look what Kadri does.
Oh, exactly.
He goes for 6 points in 2 games. He's just a fucking boss.
A fucking winner. He wants to win.
Fucking winner. Exactly. He's a winner. It doesn't matter. What's he do? He goes 4 goals, 2 assists. And you know what he did in St. Louis? He was a +6 in those 2 games.
I loved what he did to the crowd too. I don't know if he shushed him or just gave him like, the old ear or what.
He's a monster, and any general manager should be salivating over having a good thing Burnaby Joe has him. By the way, so the win will put Avalanche in the conference final for the first time in 20 years. Burnaby Joe Sakic was the captain of that team, and he is their president and general manager here, and he's the only one, still around with the franchise, obviously off the ice working in as an executive. And that, I don't know if you remember that series, but it was magic. 7-game series. Detroit Red Wings took them out in 7. It was just like,
I think, that was the Draper Lindstrom days. And
Claude Lemieux.
Was Osgood in net for Detroit?
God, was it Ozzy?
I want to say Osgood.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going back, but I remember. Yeah. Great series.
Noli knows says, where are the unders? Well, let's go find them here. They're not. It doesn't look like they're. But I don't know what St. Louis is going to do here. I don't think they're just going to fold because Perron, O'Reilly, and Parayko have a ton of heart. But
they've been known to bounce back. Like on the road. What do we got here? They 4-0, 5-2, 4-1. When they've won, and they've scored goals. So, but you got Houston in net now, guys. That's the thing. Maybe there'll be some unders in the baseball card, but I think if you guys like goals, I think we'll see some tonight in Colorado.
Mr. Gogster's on the over 6.5 at -107, and both teams to score in the first period at +143. And we will have him back tomorrow for 2 giant hockey games.
Come on, Carolina, close it out. Don't fuck around, guys.
Carolina now 0-5 on the road. Is that right?
God, man. They're not there. If you guys can't win on the road, like God, Carolina, they're stuck in a hurricane. They're in deep trouble.
But you woke up Shesty, and we know what these Russian goaltenders do, man. They step up. Much love, Gogster. It was great capping with you, my man. Can't wait to have you back on the show tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Best of luck at that cash.
There he is, Mr. Gogster in the house. We move on to MLB. We have just the man for the job. Off to a great start on our show this season in MLB. He's not been on enough. We need to have him on more, but he's here for you right now. Coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Please welcome Migga Mac Daddy in the house. C-Mac, what's happening?
Boom. Nailed it. Getting better at that, Jimmy. Every time. Fucking nailing that shit, brother. It's good. It's good to be here. I like the baseball card today. I think we could see some rainouts, but I'm ready to roll. Shout out to the chat, as always. Shout out to everyone here. Let's get it.
Let's get after it right now. We have afternoon action, and we start in an hour and 1 minute in PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's bring up all of those weather issues that we may be having right now. Let me just grab them here. So we're good to go. We start at PNC Park, and I've moved on this already. I have moved on this already, and I was late, and I knew, I was like, just bet it. And I was like, I'd rather finish. It's a problem I have all the time, like finish the rest of my work and then bet it. Just keep working. I should just bet it. And so I did lose a little bit of value, but I'm on the Pittsburgh Pirates first 5 -1/2. It is 70 Fahrenheit in Pittsburgh at first pitch, 10.3 miles per hour in. It gets up to 12.6 miles per hour in. There's brothers and bets in the house. Nasty Nate's also on the Pirates money line here. Then let's take a look at the line history and where the cash is, and then set the table here for C-Mac. We have the Pirates opening up at -120. They're up to -135 now. And from a total perspective, it opened up at 7.5 and moved to 8, which did surprise me a little bit. But I guess they think that Ryan Feltner of the Albuquerque Isotopes is vulnerable here. Let's take a look at where the cash lies in this spot. Nice amount here, huge amounts of tickets here for us to study. 9,041 tickets in for this game. 51% of the tickets, 65% of the cash is on Pittsburgh. 30% of the tickets and 53% of the cash is on the under. So why would it be going from 7.5 to 8? And that was enough to give me pause here. Rockies just 6-11 on the road. Pirates 17-25 overall, 10-14 at home. We spoke about Ryan Feltner with the Isotopes of the PCL league, a high offensive league. He had pretty good numbers. He started 8 games this year. He's 4-1 with a 3.76 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, 48 Ks and 38 in the third with 12 walks and 4 home runs allowed. He started 1 game so far this season. He made 2 starts last year and was touched badly. But this year he's made 1 start, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, 2 walks, 7-3 loss at Philadelphia. He was a 4th-round pick by the Rockies in the 2018 draft out of Ohio State. Going up against Zach Thompson, whom I like, and I like him at home. Last start at home versus the Cardinals. I believe this is his 3rd straight start at home, too, which situation I like. What up, Guillermo Zertucci? Great to see you. And John Gonzalez in the house as well. Great to see all you guys. Lance LaRode, Fireside, Jedi for Life. Jedi for Life says I'm going with Colorado here. So Jedi for Life backing Feltner. Thompson doesn't have very good numbers, but I like him at home. The Rockies versus righties, 241, 689 OPS. Pirates just 221, 636 OPS. Rockies bullpen, 4.72 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. But the back end is really strong, and I've been talking about that on the show for us to remember that. When it goes to bullpen time, it doesn't just mean the Rockies are going to lose because they've closed 14 of 18 save opportunities. Pirates bullpen 4.34 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, just 11 of 16. Take it away here, C-Mac. First game on the board, Rockies Pirates.
And real quick with that bullpen, it's skewed to show their ERA because like their ERA is 3rd to last, but you've said like they've come through. It's just being in Colorado, will give such huge innings, 8-run innings. So it always skews it. It's just like Colorado. Here we go on the road. This team's still 2nd overall in hitting this year. They're hitting 260, but we know they can't hit much of a lick. It's always been this way on the road. Look at the last 2 days. They got the victory yesterday, 2-1. This one's short and simple. I don't know what Feltner does, like you talked about with the isotopes. He's 4-1 with the 3 ERA. He got rocked the couple starts he was in. He's going to only start, I think, this start. Maybe one more. With Senzatella out, he'll be right back down. So I like Thompson as well. I liked him in certain spots last year with the Marlins. I think he had a 3 ERA, even though he was 3-7 last year. He had been good all year long. And his last 3 starts have been solid. He's gone 5, 5, and 6. And as long as he doesn't walk people, that's the key. If he's not walking people, he'll be good. Because at times he doesn't have crazy put away stuff because he doesn't have a ton of Ks. I'm going to stay off this one. I like the under, but, it's scaring me a little bit. It's moved up. The wind's blowing in. There's been no runs the last few days. Do they get, the Pirates get to Feltner, a struggling offensive team, even at home at PNC. I just don't love this early one here. It scares me a little bit. Yeah, wind's blowing in about 10. I have dead in. It'd be under or pass, and I'm too scared of like the movement to the over. So I'm going to pass on this one.
Why would it move up a half run? It's perplexing. And one of the answers be the best pieces of the bullpen were all used yesterday on both sides? Yeah.
And Feltner could be out quick. And so that's where I see it. It's just difficult. There's a lot of juice to it, but Pirates team total under 4.5 minus 150. I wouldn't play that. I mean, you dare this Pirates team to score 5 runs? Rockies have pitched well. Tough game here early. It's just kind of one, as I saw the movement to the over, as much as I like this under, these pitchers could just get shelled. So it's just a stay away for me.
I did move on the Pirates first 5 minus a half. I wish I got in early and just had them on the money line. I would, if I could have got them a minus 120 even.
Yeah.
I would have done that. It was me just being late and lackadaisical here. The lineups are confirmed. You have Connor Joe in left field leading off for the Rockies. Daza, Blackman, Cron, McMahon, Grichuk, Iglesias, Hampson, and Servin behind the plate. For the Pirates, Reynolds, Mitchell, Hayes, Gamble, Chavez, Van Meter, Castro, Sawinski, and Heineman. Ugly lineup.
Look at that. Yeah.
And look at that. Maxwell, he says the Pirates first 5 minus half is at plus 110 at FanDuel. Spreadsheet play of the day is in from Ron Crawford. He's on the Astros minus 1. I doubled up on the Astros yesterday, and I've told you guys my ROI on Astros games is not good. And I cashed first 5 minus 1 and full game minus 1.5. And I'm very hesitant to go right back. But it's like, let me just get this over the Astros game. So we have Taint in, and we have where the hell is it? Sorry. And we have spreadsheet here. Sorry, let me just get this above the game so I can Taint is in the Braves Phillies game. And there it is. Sorry. And then we have spreadsheet play right here. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ron. We will discuss it soon. There's Millsy, Red Girl in the house, and Kyle Hintley. And says Astros for it all. Okay, let's keep rolling here. I did move on Pirates first 5 minus half minus 105. There's better lines out there. And once my future cash comes in, I will not do this anymore. I'll start using the Pinnacle lines. But I'm just giving you guys what I bet. And they'll always make my record look a little worse than it could if I was just giving best lines available. We move on to 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Tigers 14-28, 5-15 on the road. The Minnesota Twins 27-16, 15-8 at home. Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I see this as, or at least it's looked as, this is the game that's going to be bounced here.
Yeah.
They have it as the only game with possible weather delay, rainouts with Swish, and they also on RotoWire have it in red. It's the only game in red. 71% chance of rain here, says RotoWire. Maybe a chance to compare. 12 miles per hour in, says RotoWire. And here we have 10.3 miles per hour. Oh, no, that's the Pittsburgh game. Sorry. We have 12 miles per hour in at first pitch. I've loved, by the way, for you guys, I've loved Swish Analytics letting me know every hour what the wind's going to be.
Yeah.
I forget the game. It was on Friday. I should pull it up right now. There was a game on Friday here that I had the under on, and it had moved to the over, and the wind was going to change so drastically.
Indians game.
Was it the
Indians? I think I was on Friday with them. Yeah.
It was 22 miles per hour in, and then by the end of the game, it was 2 miles per hour out.
Yeah.
And it was, Detroit, Cleveland. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the few times where I've gone up against the market movement with enormous confidence. And it moved up to 9. And what was the final? I mean, it was 1-1 going into the 8th inning or so. So I love that. But baseball data used to do that for us as well. But RotoWire does not do that for us. So here in Minnesota, we've gone over the weather. Let's take a look at the line history here in this spot. Garcia, Bundy. We have the Twins opening up at minus 210. They went down to minus 192 last night at 9:55, and then there were 8-cent buyback. So they're minus 200. So a 10-cent move, or 5 cents to the Tigers, plus 175 to plus 170, but Twins have gone minus 210 to minus 200. From a total perspective, it's just been dropping and dropping and dropping. 8.5 to 8 to 7.5. And I don't know if this game goes. We're going to have a bullpen day here for the Tigers with Ronny Garcia starting it out. Dylan Bundy, I don't know if he should be trusted. The Tigers versus righties shouldn't be trusted. And Viper says this game's getting rained out most likely. Is there any interest you have, or should we just move on?
I think we move on. I did like the under here, but I saw this last night. I had done all my work. I like the under. And first 5 up full game, I didn't know how I really wanted to attack it. And I had to trust Bunny, but this Tigers bullpen's been really good, and they cannot hit. Man, I watched that Tiger game yesterday. Wow, it's a struggle right now, especially against righties like you talked about. Barely over 200. It's ugly, yeah. And I think it just gets rained out, but I'd only look under if this one gets played.
Yeah, so we'll just move past it. It doesn't look good. Let's move on to Mets-Giants. This is part of the fun of MLB. You see 25 runs yesterday, and then you have gas cans on the mound today. And so obviously you have a bias in your head from what you've seen just 12 hours ago. And so I try to be so hyper aware of the biases that we have. And I've told you guys over and over again about The Undoing Project by Michael Lewis, which I think is the best gambling book I've ever read in my life, even though it's not about gambling. And I try to be hyper aware of the situation. So I did bet this game, and we'll talk about it here. 12.2 miles per hour out, gets all the way up to 16.8 miles per hour. And, we know that the weather swirls. There's Pistol Pete Loshak in the chat and says we are on Pirates' first 3 and first 5. Pistol Pete Loshak in the chat. So with this Mets-Giants spot, we'll just take a look at the movement here, the line history, and then we'll go right into where the cash lies. The Giants opened up at minus 125. They've moved to minus 135. This total opened up at 8.5, juiced to the under, and it's now juiced to the over. And I really wonder if the cash will follow suit there. So let's find out right now with this Giants spot if it does follow. We have 59% of tickets on the over. So the public having the bias from what they saw yesterday, and 24% of cash on that over. And I knew that was going to be the case. And there's, so many cappers that kind of love that zigzag theory. Also, it's moving day, so the lineups are going to be shit. And I want to fade Jacob Junis every time he starts for the rest of the year.
I feel you.
I just want to fade him. And
he got rocked last time. It worked.
I wasn't on it, C-Mac, and I was like beating myself up for not being on it. I know our man, the Omicron variant, was on it. I wasn't. Big review on the first 5 under here. And Nutflesh Allen says, I'm confused on that team total over 4.5 and minus 150. That's crazy talk. Why would they set this number? And Kyle Hintley says, who is Zapucki? So let's talk about Thomas Zapucki, because I'm on the Mets first 5 at plus 115. I'm on Zapucki in AAA Syracuse. So first off, he's a 25-year-old who was a 5th-round pick out of high school in 2018. So a highly thought-of kid. He came out of Florida. AAA Syracuse, he started 7 games. He's 0-3, but he's got a 2.86 ERA, 1.32 whip, 30 Ks in 22 innings, 9 walks. He's allowed just 2 homers. He got touched badly last year, but it was just in 3 2/3 innings. And Jacob Junis, I just don't trust. And I love the Mets versus righties. 276, 760 OPS. Giants versus righties, that number's going up fast. 255, 738 OPS. But another number that's going up fast is their bullpen numbers. Now 4.57 ERA, 1.37 whip, have converted 10 of 15. Mets bullpen, 3.81 ERA, 1.26 whip. When it's closing time, when it's the 9th inning, it's sweat walking back and forth. They've converted 13 of 21 saves. The saves they've converted, loaded bases, barely allowing a run and barely getting out of it. It's going to be a problem this year. But I'm on the Mets first 5 at plus 115. I want any chance to fade Junis, and the Mets rake righties. We'll go over their lineups if they're out. Take it away here, C-Mac, Mets, Giants.
Yeah, let's take a look here at the lineup. They're still not out yet. Damn. Zapucki, or whatever, however you say this guy's name. Yeah, he's kind of a high prospect. This is going to just be a spot start. He'll be back down. Like I talked about, I faded Junis last time out. He kind of got hit and then settled down a little bit before he went out. He went 6 innings. But I don't want him here. I think this could be a sleepy one early. I don't mind that first 5 under. I've been staring at that. But you know what I like better? Junis I think he gets hit here a little bit. If you like, Lindor has just crushed him. 18 for 36 with 5 homers. Looking for a little jack with him. I know he hit one last night, but there's a little jack of the day, Francisco Lindor. But I'm with you here, Jamie. The Mets team total, I think the 3.5, I glanced at that. It was minus 140. There's no way I want that. And you talked about it. I don't really want the pen, and you're almost getting the same price here with the Mets. Last night I liked the Giants. I didn't pull the trigger. And that was what a wild game that freaking was last night. But I'm with you. I'm going to take the shot. I love the plus money here with the Mets. Give me the kid. One thing about him, he's pitched well, not a lot. Jimmy, I was looking through his stuff. He hasn't won a game the last few years. Let me pull this up. He just went like 0-3, but he hasn't won a baseball start since 2019. I saw in here went 0-4 last year. He had 9 starts, 4.10 ERA. So a little difficult to back a kid like this. But I'm going to fade Junis too, first 5. I just think there's a little value here with the Mets. The way they've been swinging the sticks, I think that plus money early is a spot.
So, yeah, I agree. And the interesting things coming up in the chat. So let's discuss all sides of this here because and by the way, Rod Zawacki's his 10-star play of the day is on the over 8.5. We know what a high ROI he has on his 10-star plays of the day. So he's going right against the big bets that have come in on the under, and Jeffrey Moore liking the over 8.5 too. But Craig Wood says, why not take the full game and get into the Giants' putrid bullpen? And I'll tell you why here for me.
Go ahead.
Well, for me, and we'll hear it. But one, I don't want to double up on this game. I think there's a lot of volatility, even though the lineups will be weaker on movie day, and there's expected it to go to the under market, or the big bets have come in on the under. So maybe there should be implied low volatility, and that's fine. But I want to focus solely on what I perceive is the bigger advantage, and that's fading Junis and also having a Mets team that destroys righties, 276, 70 OPS. I think that's my best advantage. Yeah, you could say the Giants bullpen is falling apart, focus on full game. I get that, but I think my greatest advantage is Zapaki over Junis. And then look at this. So I got plus 115. Bet 365 had plus one. Now it's 115 on the game and 115 on the first five. I bet 360, but it was plus 110, plus 115. But look at what Pinnacle's done. Pinnacle has the Mets full game at plus 120 and first five just at plus 109. So Pinnacle, which we all believe is a very sharp book, is also saying that the best opportunity for the Mets to take care of business is the first five against Junis.
I agree. I just think it's worth a shot, like you talked about, hitting, Mets hitting righties. Maybe there's runs again. Both these games have a bunch of runs. Early start after a late wild game. Who knows? This is where you could see that dead under. We just see these teams are starting to feel it, starting to hit. Mm-hmm. So wind blowing out a little bit. We know it whips there at Oracle Park. And both pens are bad. The Giants have been horrible. I mean, Mets are okay. I think they're 20th in the league, 3.81. There I'm looking at 13 saves. I just rather go first five too.
Yeah, and it's I think this is actually got to be like the first bet of the year where I'm getting a better line at Bet365 than it's being offered at Pinnacle. Let's see if Circa can give us a help here and get you that plus 115. No, even Circa's got plus 111 for the Mets first five, but has them at plus 115 for the full game. So I'll give you Bet365's number, C-Mac. If anybody else can beat it, let me know. But C-Mac is on the Mets first five at plus 115, available right now at Bet365. CT Bays says Lugo didn't pitch and will set up Diaz. Puzzler says Junis is less effective at home. Nathan Cerna says Mets the better overall team. CT Bays says Mets like to score late. Mets and Giants are both off. Mets want to win and won't rest anybody. Real Deal Prime says dog it with the Mets. And Cheshire Cat says, how the hell wouldn't you bet the over? The Giants can put up runs too. This is how here. And Millsy saying, what shirt is that? Show us on the big screen. It is a Pub Sports Radio shirt, a real ticket from Jeff Slaughter when he had $5,000 on Liverpool. And he's going back.
I was also in that ticket too, Jimmy. Don't disrespect me like that. A couple of my rubles were in there, like $100.
Couple shekels. Oh, it's something, man. No, it's dope, man. It's I love it. So why? It's just because so often. Now, this is probably not a strong enough leg to stand on to actually put out, but we just see the zigzag theory so often in sports, and we just saw 25 runs scored yesterday, and big bets are coming in on the under, and we have the moving day lineups out. And look, I'm not saying I'm taking the under, but it's just a situation I've seen too often,
Yeah, it keeps me off the total here. It's just I could see either one. I want to stay just off it.
Yeah, and look, that's not a strong enough statistical. I'm not giving you any stats to back it up. It's pretty much bullshit. But I see it too often, and seeing the big bet. And look, is Ron Zawacki scared? He's no fear whatsoever. So I mean, I respect that, But I'm just going to focus on the Mets at plus 115. Okay, let's move on to 4:05 p.m. Eastern. That is next up for us. LA Dodgers at Washington Nationals. These Dodgers 29-13, 14-8 on the road at the Nats, 14-30, 5-17 at home. We're 44 games into the season. The Nats have converted 4 saves. Julio Urias with a beautiful bounce back spot after the Phillies touched him. And it was a bounce back spot that Sharpie expected him to have, and he really did have, and I wish I had bet it. Let's talk about the weather at Nats Park, and then Linus Street in the cash, and then hand it over to C-Mac. Here we go. 67 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 5.3 miles per hour right to left, and it stays around there. By the end of the game, it's 5.4 miles per hour to left field, but nothing to worry about weather-wise. When we go over to the line history in this spot, we have these Dodgers opening up at minus 230. And right now they're at minus 220. They did go down to minus 210, but there's been 10 cents of buyback as of 15 minutes ago. So they're minus 220 right now. So a 10-cent move towards the Nats. We look at the total. It's right where it started. 8.5, slightly juiced to the over. Let's move over to the cash now in this spot. We have half line value on the Nationals. Over 10,000 tickets are in. 92% of the tickets, 82% of the cash is on the Giants. 53% of tickets, 51% of the cash is on the over. There are 2 spots on the board here. One is the Tigers-Twins game, which we expect not to go. They have full line value on the Tigers in that spot. And the other is in the Red Sox-White Sox game that Jose is using for a say-hey play of the day. Dodgers-Nats, Julio Urias, as I said, nice bounce-back start last out against a team that rakes lefties, the Phillies. 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, no walks. Eric Fetty looked pretty good in a 7-0 loss at the Brewers. I did fade him. It was the Lauer-Fetty start, and I was on Lauer and the Brewers minus 1.5, and it was a very low-scoring game until the Brewers broke it open late. But Fetty was okay, and he's been okay. But the Dodgers rake righties, 251, 779 OPS. Nats versus lefties, 242, 625 OPS. They used to smash lefties. They don't anymore. Dodgers bullpen being very good all year, 3.12 ERA, 1.09 whip, converted 11 of 15. The Nats bullpen, 4.19 ERA, 1.37 whip, have converted 4 of 8, as I said earlier. Take it away, C-Mac, Dodgers, National.
Yeah, this could be a little bit of a sleepy game, but there's just no way right now I bet against the Dodgers. You know, I wouldn't want to back Fetty at all. You talked about he's been good all year, and he's still walking over 3 guys, and that's the problem. The Dodgers do have the best plate discipline in all the major leagues. They've been number 1 like the last 5 years. They will take their walks. So that with him on the mound, the 3-run homer is always right around the corner if he's going to be walking 3 or 4 guys. I've never trusted Fetty. I've always been kind of a fade Fetty guy. But he's been better this year, and I've even backed him a couple times throughout this year. But yesterday I was on the Dodgers. I took a 5.5 team total. I think that was the first one all year in a cash, plus 110. I didn't want to mess with the run line, even though it worked. I mean, you have to start taking Dodger minus 2.5, and that's where I start. I did it last year multiple times. As you see, only 3 games, they've only won by 1 run. So, I mean, you take them run line, it's just been a moneymaker. I think you just stick to it. Just seems like a little bit of a sleepy game here. Day game, maybe the bats aren't there right away. It's just Dodgers or nothing here for me. Nats bad against lefties, so good last year like you talked about. Urias, always a better pitcher to me on the road. Not that he's bad at home. And you talked about that great bounce-back start against the Phillies. So it's good to see him throwing well. They need him right now with Kershaw on the IL.
You are excellent with Dodger games. I tend to stay away from too many just with the big favorite lines, but I often see you cashing on them. And nice job on the over 5.5. By the way, we have a Delaware Park opening day early pick 4. It starts in 30 minutes. Razor Sharp has popped it out there. That's a $24 early pick 4. And our guy CT Bay is heading over there right now. And Razor Sharp Picks also saying that he will be there on Saturday. If anybody is around Delaware Park, Razor says, come by. He'll buy you a beer. Razor Sharp Picks will be live at Delaware Park Saturday, and CT Bays will be live there today. 2 great guys and great cappers. So, yeah, I think the breakdown makes a ton of sense. The K to walk ratio is still an issue with Fetty, and I don't think that you want any team throwing a righty against the Dodgers at any time.
Yeah. Yep, I totally agree.
By the way, Nutflush Allen, who is the knows the Giants inside and out, is almost committing to the Mets run line. Just waiting on the confirmation lineups right there. LJ from H-Town saying Nats 4-10, 4 wins, 10 losses versus left-handed pitching, and 3 wins, 15 losses as a home underdog. Right there. Rod Swag says Mets are 4-0 to the over last 4 games when the opponent gives up 5 or more runs previous game. Giants are 8-1 to the over in game 3 of the series, and the perfect 5-0 at home versus lefties. Wow. It's very, very interesting game. Very, very interesting game, and that one pops up for 345. This one pops up for 405, and we have no action at this point. No action. So let's move on to 4:10 p.m. Eastern, a move I did make. On the Best Bet show, I gave the Padres as my sure shot today, but I only ended up betting the first 5 minus a half at minus 105, and the first 5s weren't out yet when that call was made, but I did bet the Padres first 5 minus a half, and I don't really know what Aaron Ashby is going to give us from the Brew Crew, but let's break down this spot. This is my second bet on the card. I've only made 3 bets to start so far, and we've made no additions at this point. We have the Padres opening up at minus 125. They moved to minus 130 at 7 in the morning and minus 135 at 8:51 in the morning. From a total standpoint, it opened up at 7.5 as a pick'em. There's been a 10-cent move to the under. 10-cent move to the under. It's 63 Fahrenheit at first pitch. It's 6.9 miles per hour out to right field. Dies down to about 5.3. We look at the money in this Padres spot. 8,574 tickets in. 75% of the tickets, 89% of the cash on the Padres, and the markets move towards them. 31% of tickets on the under and 60% of cash on the under. And the market has moved 10 cents to the under. So the market expecting a nice start from the lefty, Aaron Ashby. So he's made 2 appearances since his last start. So I don't know. We don't know how long he's going to go. They probably want him to try to go 4 innings. He went 4 innings in his last start. And now, again, this is 3 appearances back, and he got crushed. It was a 9-2 loss to the Braves. He went 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 4 walks. But he's had a good year. 1.38 whip, 34 Ks and 28 in the third. The walk too high at 17. Going up against Yu Darvish, 4-1, 3.91 ERA, 1.13 whip, 37 Ks and 46 innings. He had that beautiful. Now, I'm a little nervous about this spot because obviously he had that beautiful start for us last out on the road against Philly, and we all cashed off of it. Now I'm going back to the well, and that makes me a little nervous. The Brewers are hitting righties much harder over the last little while. 243, 746 OPS. Padres versus lefties, 246, 747 OPS. I trust them against lefties. And the Padres bullpen has been, and Pistol Pete Loshak talked to us about that when I was saying, look at these numbers, they're not very good. He was saying, no, they're much better than the numbers indicate, and they've shown that over the last little bit. 3.63 ERA, 1.13 whip, converted 18 of 25. Brewers, 3.49 ERA, 1.29 whip, have converted 19 of 25. I moved on the Padres first 5 minus a half. Take it away for us here, C-Mac. Brewers, Padres.
I wrote this down last night with the Mets. I put Padres first 5.5, or I wrote down Padres team total over 3.5. I know they didn't get there, and the offense since it's got home has not looked good. And it wasn't for Manny Machado. This could be real ugly, this lineup at times. I want to see if anyone could get – I got minus 120 and 117. If I could get 110 on this Padres team total over 3.5, I might take it. Padres have been a lot better against lefties all year. They're hitting 249 off them, 17 homers compared to 15, and that's half the at-bats. I think they bounced back today. That was ugly to watch. They didn't get anything across last night, and Brewers broke the game open when it was tied at 1. So I don't mind your first 5.5. Darvish, usually he's better at home. He just seems to have this start that he just gets, it's like 2 or 3 good ones, and then he can get touched. He's got pretty good numbers, against the Brewers here. They have nobody's really hit him hard. Yelich just got 2 homers off him, 4 for 16. But other than that, that's it. So I think Darvish is pretty good. I'm not going to touch the total here, but I'm looking at that first 5.5 with you, or the team total. I'm just kind of mulling over it here.
So there was the idea that Darvish would struggle at times during the day. I'd like to pull out his 2021 stats, because certainly in 2022 he's been lights out in the daytime. 2-0. He's gone 13 2/3 in 2 starts. He's allowed 1 earned run. There was a solo shot, 13 Ks and no walks. Opponents hitting 200 off him. So was that a 2021 thing? Let's just pull up his 2021 splits here in the day. Yeah, and so he got hit hard in the day last year.
He did last year, yeah.
Yeah, 1-4, 4.96 ERA. So look, his splits last year, he got roughed up on the road. We just saw him pitch lights out on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Last year he was 2-7 with a 5.54 ERA on the road. We just saw him pitch, and then he was 1-4 with 4.96 ERA in the daytime. I don't know what to do with those sort of splits, and we will discuss those splits more once we have a little bit more stats to go by.
Definitely.
No, please not flesh out. That's what we want you to do. I know you're busy at work. Anytime you can throw us a stat, we love it. Or anything on the Giants. So yeah, we love it. Haters on the bereavement list. CT bases Williamson got likely won't pitch. CT bases all 3 Darvish home starts were 1-run wins with all totals 5 runs or less. Pocket full says
Yeah.
Padres full game. I ain't changing my mind. CT Bay's also saying I'm on Padres in the under. Williams pitched 2 straight games. It's 2 straight days. Excuse me. No hater. Padres off tomorrow. Brewers play tomorrow. By the way, I could only get you that team total at minus 123 at Pinnacle.
Yeah, that's just I'd rather look at the first 5 like you have. I don't know if I pull the trigger here.
Okay. Well, we'll be able to circle back. Let me just see if I can get a better team total here. Oh no, they've moved the Padres team total to 4, and it's just.
I think they get some runs off Ashby today, and I don't think. I mean, 4 is the max he's going to go. I think we'll see. Like you said, he got touched up a little bit his last time. And this Brewers bullpen, the back end with Hader's been decent, but that middle bullpen has been leaky this year at times.
Interesting. So Hader is on the bereavement list. Williams
He's
has
out.
gone 2 straight. Yeah, he's out. Williams has gone 2 straight days, so he's unlikely. The Brewers play tomorrow.
They're 13th in the league.
Then
Their ERA.
What team total am I getting? Let's see what I'm getting here on the team total. It's at minus 125 on the 3.5. But I could build a 4 at plus 110, which is better than the plus 100 other spots are offering. Huh.
Yeah. Watching that offense just scared me a bit, but I think they get runs today. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to pop it up as a possible addition for me. Building a 4 at plus money.
I'd like to see the lineup too. A lot of these lineups aren't out yet.
All right.
On some of these day games.
Let's keep rolling. Mark Schillingberg saying Joe Ryan on the COVID IL. You know what, Mark? In all honesty, I wonder what Jose thinks about this, but I like that. We want his innings down. The only chance that he's gonna, Jose's giving me a thumbs up. Like our biggest fear about winning the Rookie of the Year that Jose got us on is that they pull him late. So anytime we can like keep the inning, pull him late, meaning like they shut him down. I should have said that right. Okay, let's move on. Jimmy Gomez says that's why I'm isolating the Brewers' first 5. Williams being pitched heavy with no hater.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fireside says Padres are the number 1 ROI team in baseball. Mike M's on the first 5 under 4 here. Eric Jones on the under 7.5. Okay. And Fap win in the house says loop me up. Loop me up. He said money line at plus money. Says I like the spot for Oakland. We will talk about that here shortly. Okay, and CT Base says Brewers at rival Cardinals tomorrow. They want that game tomorrow. These are great points, CT Base, and maybe it's double up time. Maybe it's double up time on a -1 line or something. Okay, I'm already on the Padres first 5 -1/2 -105, but it's all just become more and more and more appealing as we've broken it down. And we will circle back to see if CMAC wants to jump on it as well. Let's move on to the Oakland Athletics game where Fap, coming to us from Australia, wants to be lubed up. Athletics 18-27, 12-13 on the road at Seattle Mariners, 18-26, 10-8 at home. We're at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. The weather in Seattle, 58 Fahrenheit at first pitch and 14.3 miles per hour out to left center. God, I missed that ballpark. What a fun ballpark. Down to 12 miles per hour, but so it's windy and blowing out and nice weather for a Mariners game. Let's move over to the line history here. We have the Mariners opening up at -165 and now -175, a 10-cent move towards them. This total opened up at 7.5 and has dropped to 7. Take a look at the cash in this spot. We have 7,515 tickets in, 52% of the tickets on the Mariners, 58% of the cash, 42% of tickets on the under, and 63% of cash. And it's moved to 7. So that makes sense there. Fireside says -180 for the Seattle Mariners is laughable. He says it's hilarious. We will detain. Yeah, thank you, AOD. Detain under 8.5 Phillies game. We'll talk about that. Jojo Rich says A's first 5 or pass. We have Paul Blackburn on the bump. He's been good to us this year. He's the only A's pitcher has been good to them. 4-0 somehow on a team that's 18-27. 1.91 ERA, 0.99 WHIP, 42 1/3, 34 Ks, 7 walks. His last start was 4 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, no homers, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and a 4-2 win at the Angels. And that was the spot where Babano had the A's first 5 in full game at big plus money prices. And I went in on the first 5 with him. And Paul Blackburn now, I believe this Athletics team has won 7 games in his starts. I believe so. That would that make them 7-0 in the starts? I'm not sure. We talked about it last week that there were 6, had won 6 of the 18 games, a third of the games with Blackburn on the mound. Robbie Ray on the other side, he's not been very good this year. 4.77 ERA, 58 Ks and 54 2/3. His walk rate's up. He's allowed 8 home runs in those 54 2/3. Last out at the Red Sox. The Red Sox are swinging those sticks right now, but 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 homer, 8 Ks, 2 walks, and a 7-3 loss. A's versus lefties is 226, 658 OPS. Mariners versus righties is 243, 698 OPS. A's bullpen's been very good this year. A highlight, 3.31 ERA, 1.30 WHIP, have converted 12 of 17. The Mariners bullpen, 4.37 ERA, 1.27 WHIP, have converted 7 of 13 saves. Ugly numbers. Take it away here, C-Mac, A's, Mariners.
Yeah, Mariners, ugly bullpen numbers. I get you kind of want the A's first 5, but they've had the better pen here. Man, this total's interesting. This game is fascinating to me a little bit. I mean, Blackburn, he's been unbelievable this year, and I just can't to see him pitching this well. He's been phenomenal. But this is a guy who's about a 5 ERA throughout the minors, but he's been able to dazzle it. Like I said, he doesn't punch out a ton of guys, and if he keeps these walks down, 2 or less in all these starts, he's been money. There's just no way that the Mariners. Ray looks like a totally different guy. He's just getting shelled, and his problem is the walks. It's just putting guys on with him has him in good. Yeah, it's laughable. This is A's or nothing for me here. This total though at 7, man, that's hanging low. I just don't trust the lineups. They scored some runs last night. I'm going to stay off the total. I'm very interested in the A's. I don't know if I pull the trigger, but I think it's dog or pass in this spot for sure, or just stay away.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards just staying away. Is Robbie Ray? Look, I was happy that the Jays didn't re-sign him, but is he going to start pitching better at some point? And
yeah.
If so, wouldn't this probably be the situation at home against a team that's hitting 226, 658 OPS versus lefties? The market's telling us,
yes,
with the Mariners outrageously priced, that he's going to have a good start, and the total's gone from 7.5 to 7. So you put all that together, and it makes me not want to move on it, is what it does. So I think I'm going to stay off. Robert Franklin saying Robbie has been getting lit up. Not the same pitcher that won the Cy. Anders Larson on Oakland run line, plus 1.5. And CT Bay saying they're 7-1. 7-1 in 8 starts. 7-1. And they're 8-17 on the year. Or sorry, 18-27 on the year. So they're 11-26 in games that Blackburn doesn't start. That's just nuts. Cheshire Cat says the A's will let you down. The Mariners will let you down.
Yeah.
Sounds like a country song. Where's Pete Loshak when we need him? Fireside saying Mariners team total under. Are we just moving past this?
Yeah. To me, this is A's if you want to take a shot with him. It's them or nothing here. There's no way I want Robbie Ray. I got to wait. Like you said, I think he probably pitches well. And at some point, Blackburn's going to get touched. I just still think his whole career, he's been up and down. He always gets hurt. He's been with the A's for 5 or 6 years, from AAA to up with them. And I've seen enough of him. I think he's due for some aggression here. I just don't know. Maybe it's not now. Maybe he continues. We won't see it till later on in the year when he starts wearing down.
HT Tube also like in the A's plus 0.5 for that first 5. And CT Base says excellent value on the A's at this price. JP says A's first 5 plus 0.5 is plus 155. Is it really? Let me just see what I would get on that. That sounds no. A's first 5 is plus 155.
Yeah.
So plus 0.5. Let's see what we get here. That's with a game where you expect low volatility. I mean, that makes sense there. Plus 0.5's minus 120. I just can't turn them into that big of a favorite.
No way.
Okay, let's move on here. Move on to 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Cubs. God, they got me right in the old prison pocket yesterday. 18-24, 11-9 on the road at Cincinnati. What was I thinking? Molly, 12-30, 5-11 at home. We're at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've only spent one night in Cincinnati in my life, and it was great. We stayed in the hotel across the bridge in Lexington County for cheap. And you know what? It was Game 7 of the Royals-Giants World Series. We went to a sports bar there right beside the stadium.
Oh, nice.
It was hopping. It was just fucking hopping, and God, it was dope. We went to Churchill Downs that day, and then drove to Cincy. Let's see what the line history is here. Cubs, Reds, and we'll take a look at the wind as well. Cubs, Reds here. Heavy rain to start the game. Heavy rain to start the game. I don't see it as a possible delay or rain out here. Heavy rain to start it off. So the pitchers will probably get pushed back.
Yeah.
And heavy rain at 8 p.m. too. So it stops raining and then starts raining again. And you have wind all over the place. It starts at 20 miles per hour, goes down to 6, gets it back up to 19. How is this game not on in the Red and RotoWire? We just pull up RotoWire and see if they think this Reds game. They have 31% rain, expecting the game to go. So I guess it's just storms. Okay, so we'll just act as if this game is going to go at this point. Hendricks versus Castillo. Do we see the Hendricks bounce back start? There's been a 25-cent move to the Cincinnati Reds. Minus 125 opener, now minus 150. From a totals perspective, it opened just slightly juiced to the over at minus 115 to the over. Now it's minus 120 to the over. We get into where the cash lies in this Reds Cubbies spot. We have 8,007 tickets in at this point. 32% of the tickets, 81% of the cash on Castillo in the Reds.
Yeah.
And the market moving 25 cents towards them. 67% of tickets on the over, but just 51% of cash on the over. Okay. Brian saying calling for storms to start in Detroit and into Ohio after 1 p.m. Maxwelly says Hendricks doesn't play well away. Is that still true? I'll go over his splits with you guys. He's coming off a terrible start at home. 5 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 4 homers, 3 Ks, 2 walks, 10-6 loss at home. He's not been very good this year. 4.89 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, 10 home runs allowed in 49 2/3. Luis Castillo coming off a really nice performance against the Jays team that's not hitting at all. Save for last night, I guess. 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, no walks, and a 2-1 loss at the Blue Jays. He looked really good. 4.60 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. Cubs rating 235, 692 OPS versus righties. The Reds just 220, 661 OPS versus righties. By the way, spreadsheet dog is Oakland. Puzzler says, just wondering what a recent windstorm did to the Pigeons. You know, it's actually been quiet on the Pigeon front. Puzzler.
Pigeon front.
Yeah, so maybe that's good news. Maybe I hope that took a few of them out. Cubs bullpen 3.29 ERA, 1.20 WHIP, 12 of 17 converted save opportunities converted. Reds bullpen 4.82 ERA, 1.42 WHIP, have converted 6 of 9 save opportunities. Take it away here, C-Mac. Cubbies, Reds.
Yeah, let's get into it. Hendricks, like you talked about, he's had 2 good starts on the road right before he got shelled at home, and he had 2 horrible ones. His first 2 road starts, he gave up 6 earned at Pittsburgh, at Milwaukee. I can't trust him. Hendricks is not a guy I want to back at all. You think he bounces back with his value with Cubs, but to show the Reds are minus 145, all this money's moved. I looked at it last night, and I thought a little bit at 125 are the Reds. And the Reds own both these teams hit these pitchers well when I was going through everything, but the Reds hit Hendricks. He's given 12 home runs, 146 at-bats. Obviously, they see each other a ton. Votto's got 4 homers. Pham's got 2. A bunch of guys got homers. Stakis, Moran. Wind's blowing in here with all these bad numbers. I'm off here. I just can't take the Reds. Castillo was pretty good in that last start. Watching it against the Jays. I don't know if you did, Jimmy, but no walks, 5 Ks, and that scares the shit out of me too, because he's the ultimate blow up. It seems like he's dominant, and then he'll give up 8 runs in a start. So the Reds 145. I mean, they're telling you I just can't do it. You'd have to take their team total, run line. Me saying Reds run line is not right now. Definitely not going to do it.
Yeah.
4.5. You're into the Reds get 5 runs. It's only minus 110. No.
And Hendricks, the road home splits. I mean, he's been bad on the road, 1-2 with a 5.24 ERA, opponents hitting 289, but he's been bad at home. So then you have to go to 2021 to get more of a sample size to see if the splits. And his 2021, he was worse at home. On the road, he was great, 8-2. He did have a 4.28 ERA, yeah. So his splits were totally flipped. And then we don't want to bother going to 2020 because that was a weird pandemic year. I was listening to the Reds. Who was a beat writer when they were in town, and obviously it was almost all Votto talk. But when it wasn't Votto talk, they were talking about what went wrong for the Reds to start the year, and they broke the MLB record for not having a quality start in the longest amount of games to start the year. And I can't remember it offhand, and I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it was like 28 or 29 straight games without a quality start to start the year off, and that had never been done before. And why wouldn't Castillo get hot? I mean, there were times we thought that Castillo was going to be a Cy Young candidate often, year after year. Is there any thought that Hendricks bounces back here and that the under would be in play? Because
I just don't trust him. I just don't want to take him right now. Volatile game. There's rain. A little bit of rain. Just wind.
The crazy wind and the rain. Okay. CT Bay says, don't trust either pen. Runs late. D-backs destroyed the Cubs pen. Reds garbage pen all season. And Piker says, Voodoo Child by Hendricks. Extremely underrated. Hendricks, a man of many talents. The Big Rigu says, too high a price to trust the Reds. Look over in the bats here. CT Bay says 13-3 to the over at home is about the strongest trend in all of baseball. That's in Cincinnati. Okay, let's move on. I agree with being patient. We have action here. Next up, 6:40 p.m. Eastern, Miami Marlins 18-23, 8-11 on the road at the Tampa Bay Rays, 25-17, 14-9 at home. We're at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, and we have come to the spot in the show where we have Say Hey Play number 1. Say Hey Play number 1. Please welcome to the show none other than your host of Say Hey Plays, Jose Bouquet. Jose, how are you?
Hello. There seems to be a fire alarm going in my house, so I'm sorry if there's a beeping in the background if it happens. But going well.
Talk to us about the record and how yesterday went for you.
It was kind of a middling day. I went 4 plays. I went 1-3. I put in my first parlay of the year, which was fun, and it included the Padres team total over 2.5. I combined 2 team totals over 2.5. I went back to the well with my Orioles, that cash, but the Padres couldn't do it for me. The one we had was the Phillies, and obviously the 2 losses from the White Sox game. But I was hoping at the end of the day the Red Sox would throw a position player to end that game and get us over. But yeah, no, it was an interesting day. A lot of people are chirping me about the Red Sox. More people talking to me about the Red Sox now, and they were shitty. So that's nice, I guess.
Yeah, it's got to feel good. What is your record now overall?
160-49. We're still up 13 units, so can't complain.
And who is your guest on today's show?
That's an excellent question. I think I'm going to do it by myself today. Short card, 7 gamer. It's going to be fun. Hijinks, and we'll see what happens.
Well, let's discuss this spot because you get your card started here with Cody Petit going up against Drew Rasmussen. Cody Petit has made 1 appearance since his last start. In his last start, he went 4 2/3, allowed a hit, no earned runs, 4 Ks, 1 walk, and a 5-1 win at home. Excuse me, versus the Nationals. Had a strong season so far, and so is Rasmussen. 2.33 ERA, 0.91 WHIP, in 38 2/3. 2 home runs allowed, just 8 walks allowed. His last start, he went 5 innings, 4 hits, no run, 7 Ks, and a walk, and a 6-1 win at home versus the Tigers. Another home start for him. Marlins versus righties, 254, 734 OPS. So strong numbers. Rays versus righties, just 239, 699 OPS. Both bullpens have been excellent from the Marlins and the Rays. Let's take a look at the line history and the line history and where the cash lies, and then here say hey play of the day and hear what CMAC wants to do on this spot. We have a huge move to the Miami Marlins. They open up at plus 180. They're now plus 155. So that's a 25-cent move towards them. But it's an even bigger move if you look at it from where the Rays were. It's a 45-cent move from the Rays at minus 220 to minus 175. So a huge, huge move towards the fish. This total opened up at 7 with a 5-cent or minus 115 to the under. It was a brief pick 'em, and it's back to minus 115 to the under. We go over to the cash flow here in this spot. The cash flow here in Marlins Rays, we have 5,081 tickets in, 83% of tickets, 77% of the cash on the Rays, and then 64% of tickets, 91% of cash on the under. And Mississippi Whisper, thank you very much for the extremely kind words. And Mississippi Whisper says, class act Jose on the board. So let's hear what Jose wants to do here with Marlins Rays. Take it away.
Well, Drew Rasmussen is it's not, I guess I can't say for sure he is the most profitable first 5 pitcher this year, but he's up there in the top. He's in the top 3, 7-1 this year. I back him at basically every first 5 starts at the end of the day there. Last 2 starts, Detroit, 5 innings, 4 hits, no run, 7 Ks, no walks. Toronto, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run there, 1 K, 1 walk there. So I took Tampa Bay first 5 minus a half, and I did primarily most of my research on Poteet, and I'm going to give Poteet a little suck and dry here real fast. And all that is to say, just remember that I am on Tampa Bay. So like you said, this is his second start this year. He went 4 2/3, 1 hit ball, no earned runs, 4 Ks at home versus the Nationals. And we'll talk about, he throws 3 pitches basically. And it's the 3 pitches that everyone throws now in baseball: your fastball, changeup, slider. And he's thrown 129 changeups this year, Jim, and only allowed 3 hits this year on them. That's a 0.94 average against his changeup so far. His fastball, I was like, I mean, if we've got to have a little better average there. 94 of those Johns thrown this year, Jim. 4 hits allowed on the fastball this year, and he's put away 30% of his batters with the fastball. So it's obvious that he's starting off changeup, slider, and then goes to the fastball to gas him up. So shout out to Poteet. It's been an interesting year so far, and he's given up just two earned runs this year, and his first home run allowed was just past week, I believe it was on the 21st. So he's been phenomenal. What can we say? And again, all that is to say, I'm on the Tampa Bay Rays first 5 minus a half at minus 120. Both these offenses this month are about the same against righties, 112 and 113 weighted runs created plus. That's 12th and 11th. So I think both these teams are, I would say, I think the Rays are the better team at the end of the day. And I've taken Rasmussen. We have more of a track record with Drew, and I think Cody's been great so far, Mr. Poteet. Shout out to Poteet, Texas. But I think he'll get touched up by the Rays here. This streak of just dominance can only go so far, right?
Interesting. So what is keeping you then off the first 5 under 3.5 that Big Ragu is on?
I don't hate it at all. I mean, my only concern would be the 3.5 is pretty low, but when they put a 3.5 there, I think they put it there for a reason. Let me double check here, because the other 3.5 that I thought was interesting last night was the Mariners A's one with Caprillion and Kirby, and that one soared over pretty quickly. Yeah, I think it's tough. I think Poteet, like I said, he's been phenomenal this year, and I gave you all those stats, and I knew I was going into this betting against him. But I think all of that will eventually come to an end. You know, I think he's been phenomenal, but giving up literally 2 earned runs this year, 1 in his last start, and I think 1 in his second start. But I think I'm sticking with the Rays first 5. I don't hate the first 5 under as well. My main concern would be the offenses, to be honest, because it's more Poteet versus the Rays offense at 112 weighted runs created plus. I think that they can scratch across some runs there for sure.
And I understand the suck portion of your suck and dry. What is the dry portion?
Do you want? I can.
All right, let's move on to C-Mac.
Whoa.
Let's move on to C-Mac here. C-Mac, Marlins Rays. What are you thinking here?
I don't love the move to the Marlins. I would be on the under. Poteet's the only thing that scares me a little bit. I had that under yesterday. It came in. Rasmussen's been dominant. I mean, I guess you could take the Rays. They're the home team here, and they're great. Run line, but I don't know if there's enough for me here. And they're at home. I don't want to take it. So this is a pass for me. I think it's Rays or nothing, and I'd look under. I'd go full game. Marlins struggle to hit on the road. I've been surprised how well they've hit, period, this year. But the goose egg yesterday, I mean, that's why, little bounce back, score some runs today. But Rasmussen's just been lights out this year. He was great last year for me. I mean, when I bet on him, he's been money. So that's the only look here for me.
Is the first 5 or the full
No,
game?
I'm not going to bet it. That'd be my only look here.
I fear
it's not good enough. The first 5 minus a half.
Yeah.
What is it? Minus 120.
Yeah, that's what Jose got. Jose, come back on here. Did you tweet out that first 5 minus half minus 120?
I always say that I don't think I did, but I always say that I don't, and then I just remember that I do at the end of the day. I don't think I did though.
So we can line shop for you and see if we can get you something better here. I fear that I'm leaving money on the table, not moving on this.
Well, I will say I like Connor's point about the Marlins away against righties. Thank you to Fangraphs. You can separate those splits. If you separate them against righties this month on the road, 84 weighted runs created plus. That is 22nd in the league. So I like that. It makes me feel better about my race bet, Connor. So thank you.
Yeah.
We can get you a minus 112 at Pinnacle. So let's get your VIG down here.
Yeah, I was going to say I see 112, 115, 113.
Okay, say, hey, play of the day.
Okay, Rays are still at 117 on the road or at home against righties too. So yeah, feeling good about that now.
Craig Wood says 19-4 on the season. Jimmy says bet on the Rays. Yeah, I'm going to do something here, and I don't want to sit here and hum and haw. I just need to study it a little longer.
Me too.
I
like it.
Let's go back to where the cash is on this game once more. Just a little refresher. So 18% of tickets, 23% of the cash on the Marlins. 62% of tickets, 87% of cash on the under, but I guess they don't want to drop it down to 6.5. Okay, I'm going to do something here, but I need more time to – and I'm not going to sit here and triple up on this game at all. So I really want to find the edge I like best. So Jose, say, hey, play of the day is the Rays. First 5 minus a half, and that's just play of the day number 1. He will be back in action with us in the Boston Red Sox, Chicago White Sox game. So, Jose, we will see you very soon, and you are locked in. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Orioles, 18-26, 6-15 on the road at the New York Yankees, 30-13, 16-7 at home at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Start with the weather, 63 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 8.6 miles per hour right to left, dies down to 6.5. Then we'll go to the line history in the Yankees spot here. We have a huge move to the Baltimore Orioles. Just a monster move here. The Yankees opened up at minus 220 yesterday at 5:02 p.m., and they're down all the way to minus 165. They got down to minus 160 at 8:42 in the morning, but they're down to minus 165. So a huge move to the Orioles. The total opened up at 8.5, then dropped to 8. And then dropped to 7.5. Wow. Tyler Wells going up against JP Sears, 26-year-old out of Citadel. Let's go over to the cash flow and see if it follows suit with a ton of Orioles money. We have 10,100 tickets in, and not really, although 32% of tickets are on Baltimore, but 27% of cash. And then 38% of tickets are on the under and 68% of cash on the under. That's just Sean, what up, my man? Excuse me. Great to see you. Let's talk about JP Sears first, the lefty, a 26-year-old 11th round pick by the Mariners in 2017 out of the Citadel. In AAA, Scranton Wilkes-Barre for the Rail Riders, he was unhittable so far this year. So he made 6 appearances. He started 4 games. So he's made 2 appearances for the Yankees in 2 innings. 2 hits, no 1 runs, 1K, 1 walk. But for the Rail Riders, 6 appearances, 4 games started, 1-0 with a 0.83 ERA, a 0.60 WHIP, 30 Ks in 21 2/3 with 2 walks. I mean, this guy's just absolutely being lights out. Tyler Wells, can't say the same about him this year. 1-3, 4.41 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, 23 Ks, 6 walks, but he has allowed 5 homers in 32 2/3. So I have no idea how long and how far JP Sears will go. No idea. We know Craig saying Stanton is out, and we know that Chapman's on move to the IL, and this is probably a bullpen day of some kind. The Orioles used to hit lefties. That's over. 212, 599 OPS. Yankees 243, 734 OPS versus righties. Both bullpens have been excellent so far, and the big surprise there is the Orioles bullpen. What a fascinating spot with a huge market move towards Tyler Wells. Confusing, C-Mac. Take it away, Orioles, Yankees.
Yeah, I think people are just seeing, the Orioles are finally starting to swing it a little bit. This is a move I didn't make yesterday. It was just 2.5. I had the juice was minus 132 on their team total, and it got over 7.5. Yankees obviously came back and won. They didn't play it. You know what? I think Wells is going to be a decent pitcher. I think he's done all right this year. He has already had a start at the Yankees, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. I get it with the Orioles. They've played the Yankees tough lately, and I like that they're starting to swing it. You talked about it. The lefty, last year it was just like take them, but the Yankees, it seems like Sears has been solid. I mean, it seems like he'll probably go 2 or 3 and just bring in that Yankee bullpen. It should be nothing. Tough one for me here. I'm off. I don't want anything to do with it here. I like the under a little bit, but you got to trust these 2 pitchers. And it's already, the under 8, you can get the 8 at 125. I don't know. They've been swinging it better. But I'd lean under.
Puzzler says Sears' longest minor league outings this year were 5 2/3 and 4 2/3.
Yep.
I get the lean to the under, but we've missed it. And so I guess it's just news coming out about what this Yankees lineup is going to look like. And that's been the whole move and why the move to the under as well. So had to have got in on this action early. Vinny saying, I can't make a move here, and nor can I. Eric Jones says, under 7.5 might get there, but Yanks bullpen may be short of arms. My man Good in the house, what up, Good, says, if the Orioles win, it's going to be an over. Okay. They scored about 5 runs the last few days. I'd have to look it up. Last 3 or 4 days, they've been definitely swinging it. Finally, Mountcastle, all those guys, Mancini, finally swinging it a little bit. Well, it's going to be no action for me. We're going to move on to 7:20 p.m. Eastern, and that gets us to a play that has been cashing at an alarming rate, making a lot of people cash. That, my friends, is sweet, sweet. Taint play of the day. Philly Atlanta full game under 8.5 says let's eat together from our Matty Ice, star of the Taint play of the day. Let's take a look and see what we are dealing with in Atlanta. We'll start first. Truist Park. Let's see what the weather is. Light rain to start. 10.9 miles per hour. Very slightly right to left. It goes down to 5.2 and 3.9, but then it becomes in. But it certainly does die off weather-wise. Let's move over to the line history in Atlanta. Suarez versus Morton. The Braves open up at minus 140. They get all the way to minus 170 by 8:42 in the morning. At 11:42 a.m., so just an hour ago, they dropped 5 cents. So they're sitting at minus 165, a 25-cent move towards the Atlanta Braves. From a total perspective, it opens up at 8.5 and moves to 9. It moved to 9 at 10:30 in the morning. So it opens at 8.5 at the pick'em, and the first move is towards the over. It's at 3:16 in the morning. Then it comes back to a pick'em, and then back to the over at 8:42 a.m. Then 5-cent increments over. 8.5 minus 120, 8.5 minus 125. Then the 9 then the 9. And the 9, since it's got to 9, there was 3 minutes ago a 5-cent move towards the under. So it's now 9 at minus 120. So let's see where the cash and how that cash follows suit here in this Braves game. Let me find it here. Here we go. We have 8,044 tickets in. 55% of the tickets, 55% of the cash on the Braves. We've seen the market move towards them, 25 cents. Then 44% of tickets and 47% of cash on the under, and it's moved towards the over. Joe Yurkovich in the house says neither Suarez or Morton can be fully trusted right now. Leroy Flood says Phillies money line, they hit Morton. Mike M says when Atlanta is the fave versus the Phillies, they stomp them. 6 straight W's. T-Max on the first 5 over 4.5. Real Deal Prime staying off of this spot. The Phillies 9-10 on the road so far. Braves not look good at home. They haven't looked good this year. 20-23, 11-12 at home. Suarez, the lefty, coming off 4-1 loss at home versus the Dodgers. He went 3 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, 5 hits, 5 Ks and 2 walks. He's got a 4.12 ERA and 1.45 whip on the year. He started out the year poorly. Charlie Morton, 4.95 ERA, 1.45 whip. In his last start, he went 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks and 1 walk in a 5-3 win at the Marlins. The Phillies don't hit righties like they hit lefties. They smash lefties. Against righties, not bad. 248, 710 OPS. Braves versus lefties, 231, 728 OPS. Those numbers are rising. Phillies bullpen's been poor all year. 4.15 ERA, 1.45 whip. That's no surprise to anybody. The Braves bullpen has been very good and it's been getting better every day. Numbers are getting better every day. 3.38 ERA, 1.22 whip. Have converted 13 of 21 save opportunities. Here we go. Matty Ice's tank play of the day's on the under 8.5. It's moved to 9. C-Mac, how are you playing this?
I like the under a little bit too. I would go first 5. Real quick, Jimmy, it's just stuck in my mind. Orioles, I think the last 5, 9, 8, 1, 7, 6, and 6. Those are so that one game they've got 6 or 7 last 5. They've been definitely swinging it a little bit better. The pitchers I can't trust. I like this over, and it got there late, and the Braves coughed it up with the Phillies, and then the Braves came back, and they won it. Suarez has been good. Even the last game with the Dodgers, he gave up 3 runs. I didn't play that first 5 under, and it hit. I mean, it was just 3-0. They got off to him real quick. The Braves are just starting to hit, I think, a little bit. And we've seen back-to-back overs. Because I want this under, first 5 under here. I do not want, even the Braves pen, I don't want. I know they've been better. I do not want the Phillies, so I don't want full game here. I lead under in this spot. Both pitchers, they're hitting 250 off Suarez. Morton's got touched a little bit in his career. Some of these Phillies, a decent numbers. Segura, Harper, Realmuto, 7 for 20, 7 for 21. Herrera's 4 for 9. Tough one here for me. The Braves, I don't want this price either. I think they're starting to play better baseball, but I'm not going to lay this big a number. And at times, I wouldn't mind taking the Braves run line, and I'm going to do it throughout the year. But I'm not going to here. I like this first 5 under. I don't love the movement here a little bit to the over. I'm off, but I definitely lean under. I thought about this last night right away. I wrote it down here. This was kind of like the Mets, the Padres. I wrote first 5 under 4.5, looking at the wind, the whole game. But that's my lean. I don't know if I'm going to get here. I'm really humming and hawing. Bullshit here.
Jeffrey Moore taking the under 9 at minus 115. Big Ragu on the Phillies team total over 3.5 at minus 125. Cashman saying Morton's pitched well the last 3. Looked horrible his first 2 starts. Joseph Gomez talking about the strikeout prop on Suarez. And it's interesting that it's gone from 8.5 to 9, and that's never concerned Matty Ice before. And we heard from Pistol Pete Loshak, the same thing happening to Pete this year in baseball that happened to me in NHL, was that the bets that I beat the line move, and sometimes I would destroy the line move. I had a negative ROI, and the bets when the line move went against me, I had a positive ROI. And I'm actually working on something. I'm trying to write it out, why I think this is happening, and I've been working on it. And basically what it comes down to is, and this needs a ton more thought and like me to sit with for a while, but we've been taught that beating the line moves is paramount, the single most important thing in our industry. But is it possible, if we cap every day, that we just see the public move before the public because we're always focusing on the market? And then what does that mean? Is that really such a benefit to your capping that you jump on the most public play on the board before the public does, and then feel good about yourself because the market's moved in that direction?
Yeah.
It's
just interesting.
It's something that I'm kind of working on, that we because this year in NHL it was astonishing. It was just ridiculous. I'd beat a move enormously and lose, and so we'll talk more. I'll work on that a little more and see if I can produce something worthy. It's going to take some time. I got to write it out, and time is not I don't have a lot of it right now. Okay, let's move on here. But we have Taint Play of the Day, and we don't have either CMAC or myself moving on it. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, and it is Say Hey Play of the Day number 2. Please welcome back to the show the host of Say Hey Plays, Jose Bouquet. Jose, nice to have you back in action. Jose's already moved on the Rays' first 5 minus a half. That was Say Hey Play of the Day number 1, and he's back for Red Sox talk. Red Sox, White Sox. This blew up in my face yesterday badly, and cost me a really nice night. Red Sox, White Sox here. White Sox just 9-11 at home. We're at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. We'll start with the weather here. A light rain off the start, and the reason why Jose added the second game was he is a little concerned that this game will be pushed back or canceled altogether. The wind is not a factor. Light winds, 1.7 mile per hour in, gets up to 5.5, then drops back to 1.6. So the wind is a non-issue. Let's move over to the line history here in the White Sox, Red Sox spot, Hill Giolito. There's been very little movement, and all that has happened, it happened at 11:42 last night, and it was a 10-cent move towards the Red Sox. They opened up at plus 160. They're now sitting at plus 150. This total, though, has moved. It opened up at 8. At 8:23 in the morning, it went to 7.5. And then just 48 minutes ago, there was a 5-cent move to the over. So let's take a look at the cash then in this spot, Battle of the Sox. And this is, I was kind of leading us towards this. This is the game. The other one is the Tigers, and it looks like that'll be rained out. This is the only other game where Sports Insight says there is full line value on a team, and that team is the Boston Red Sox, who have 54% of the tickets and 61% of the cash. On the total, we have 75% of tickets on the over and 69% of cash on the over. Dick Mountain on the bump. He hurt me badly in his last start. Rich Hill went 2 innings, allowed 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, and a 12-6 loss at home to the Mariners. He's had a good year. Got off to a bad start, then pitched really nicely, and then got hit in his last outing. 3.90 ERA, 1.27 whip, 23 Ks in 30 innings, just 3 home runs allowed, 1 every 10. Giolito on the other side dealt with COVID this year. 2.84 ERA. He's only thrown 31 and 2/3 innings, but 44 Ks and 11 walks, but has allowed 6 home runs over that period. He's coming off a 6-2 loss at the Royals, where he went 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, and 2 walks. The Red Sox are starting to hit. 254, 724 OPS for righties. And it was once upon a time where you'd see the White Sox against the lefty and bet them immediately. Their numbers are still good, but I hesitated when I saw all the value and the move towards the Red Sox. White Sox 264, 761 OPS versus lefties. Red Sox bullpen 3.78 ERA, 1.16 whip. The middle portions of the bullpen are starting to move in the right direction, Jose, but you've still converted 8 of 19 save opportunities. White Sox, we thought they'd have a great bullpen. Everyone said top 5 bullpen to start the year, but they have a 4.28 ERA, 1.37 whip, and converted just 17 of 26 save opportunities. Say Hey Play of the Day number 2. Red Sox, White Sox, take it away, Jose.
It's pretty shocking how that White Sox bullpen has been, but that's a wake me up when September begins kind of thing. I'll be worried about it then. But I made the mistake of going with the wrong Sox yesterday, and I'll admit it. The Red Sox offense did surprise me, blowing up Cease like that. I thought he would struggle. Didn't think he would struggle that poorly. And then Nick Pivetta is the AL Cy Young leader, obviously now. I mean, look at him go. But I will say I'm leaning towards overs of this game. Lefties, White Sox, they're hitting them decently this month, better than they have been this whole year so far. 10th, 109 weighted runs created plus against lefties. It's always been just like shit since the White Sox this year on both sides of the plate. Now is starting to come back together. I mean, they were like second last year. So, I mean, 10th is not where you would expect them to be, but it's starting to heat up. So I honestly took the Red Sox team total over. I took them over 3.5, a really shocking number to me. I think that is mostly Giolito driven, but we'll talk about Giolito's last start against the Red Sox, and I actually kind of remembered it because it was shocking. It was Dylan Cease-esque as well. 1 inning, 8 runs there. I'll take my chances of 3 runs with this Red Sox team. That's the best. Well, I should say 4 runs. 4 runs with this Red Sox team. That's the best against righties this month right now. Playing hot. Just saw arguably the best pitcher in the staff and dominated him. Feeling good. 4 runs plus money. No problem.
And what did you get that at? And did you tweet it out?
No, I got it at plus 105. It's currently still at plus 105 right now, but all the plays will be tweeted out after the show. Plus 105 over 3.5 is on Bovada right now.
Plus 105 over at Bovada. Do you mind giving us an update too before you go of Pirates Rockies? Here, sorry, I forgot that was on right now. Red Sox, White Sox. I just want to see if I can beat that a line. That's a team total for the Red Sox. While I'm looking to try to beat that line for you, let's hear what C-Mac has to say about this Rich Hill, Lucas Giolito spot. C-Mac, how are you attacking it?
This one was tough last night when I was going through this. So what do you guys have? 50% chance of rain here at game time? I got the wind kind of blowing in, southeast a little bit, across.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I have.
The Red Sox, what they put up 16 runs yesterday.
Yep.
I don't mind your play here, Jose. And I like Giolito. I just don't know what he brings here at home. Rich Hill's not been great lately. And the Red Sox, who are this great first 5 under team, now is kind of going straight to the over. These first 5, they've been getting runs early and often.
It brings a tear to my eye, Connor. It just makes me cry tears of joy sometimes.
Yeah, you got to be happy. I don't blame you for taking this. I'm staying off. Sox still hit lefties decent. I don't love this White Sox team, and they should not be this favorite this much, I don't think, in this game, and especially the way the Red Sox are playing. I think the value's all here with the Red Sox. I would take them or pass.
Huh. And so we have 76% tickets on the over, 71% of cash on the over, and it's gone from 8 to 7.5.
It did the same thing It did the same thing yesterday too. I don't know about like the market and money percentages, but it's at a 7.5 during the show, Jim, I believe, and then during my show it dropped to a 7, and I was like, I don't feel great about my Red Sox or my White Sox team total bets now, but it wasn't even because of that. So I have slowly begun to learn that I really don't trust the market moves in baseball that much. Like in some sports, maybe it'll help, and obviously your ROI and Pete's ROI is maybe telling a story there. But in baseball, I've realized it's not that big of a helping factor, I guess.
I know it looks like Detroit, Minnesota is going to go off as planned.
I think they said it was delayed earlier. I'm not 100% sure. So
okay,
I'd be shocked if that game went.
And the Rockies have just made it 2-0 early, which is extremely irritating. Okay, so say hey, play number 2 is the Red Sox team total over 3.5. I got that at plus 107. Plus 107 over at Pinnacle. C-Mac, is there anything you want to add to this spot?
No, I really want to take the Red Sox. I just don't know if I can get there.
Like the over. I like Joe Rurkovich's over as well.
Yeah, Joe's saying there's a chance of rain, but it's a great hitting environment. The over 7.5 is the best look. Huh. Okay, great stuff. Jose, one more time. Jose will be riding solo today on Say Hey Plays Today at 5:30. Can you hit us with that record once more?
160, 149, up over 13 units, 13.32 units. So feeling good about ourselves. A little bit of a team total kick recently, but whatever wins, and we're rolling with it. So it's going to be a fun show, and this show will continue to be fun because a lot of good games still left.
There are a lot of good games still left. Good luck with your action. Thank you for sharing it with us. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. Cleveland Guardians at Houston Astros. And another man who's running hot here on the show has a play of the day. We have the spreadsheet play today on the Astros -1. Astros -1. Johnny Gonzalez says, what about the zigzag theory for the Red Sox game? Lots of runs yesterday. It feels like when you study the market every day that people just blind bet the opposite of what they see.
Yeah.
I can't say that that's what's happening, but it just feels like it because it feels like every time there's this massive scoring game, the big bets come in on the under in the next game. I've not moved on it. Nikolai Jubinski in the house looking at Japanese baseball. Matty Ice taint play today is Philadelphia Atlanta under 8.5. And just one more note on that game that we just talked about, Red Sox White Sox. Greg Wood says fade the Red Sox. 17 hits prior on the road. Hits 67% of the time on the White Sox. Not sure if I fully understand that one. But if you can hit me with that again here, I don't know if I'm reading that right, Craig. Let's move on to Guardians Astros. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. The first half and full game was gorgeous for me yesterday. First half -1, full game -1.5 helped me very much. Prince of the City in the house. Great to see you, Prince of the City. And LJ from H-Town saying Boston 11, 6-2 off a win to the over. We have Cal Quantrill coming off a 4-2 loss at home versus the Reds. He went 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 5 Ks, no walks, and he was very good. Very good. And he's been good all year. 3.48 ERA, 1.19 whip. You're not going to get strikeouts when you need them, but he gets a lot of soft contact, 25 Ks, 15 walks, and 41 in the third. He's only allowed 3 home runs in 41 in the third. Going up against Christian Javier, who's had a great year so far, 2.87 ERA, 1.02 whip. Coming off a great start at home versus the Rangers. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 homer, 9 Ks. Guardians, 258, 737 OPS versus righties. And that number's going down, as we expected. Astros versus righties, 239, 741 OPS. That number's going up. Both bullpens have been excellent so far this year. And one time, you're damn right we did. We did cash with the Mavs last night. I'm back up to double-digit units in NBA. And also, I'm on them again in Game 5 at plus 270. But we'll talk basketball here shortly with Derl. Astros, Guardians. Let's take a look at the line history and then where the cash lies and then hand it over. Quantrill versus Javier. The Astros opened up at -192. They got up to -200. But an hour and 15 minutes ago, it dropped to -185. 15-cent move from -200 to -185, but a 5-cent move on the Guardians from +170 to +165. And then from a total perspective, it opened up at 8, and at 8:23 this morning, it moved to 8.5. Let's see if the cash follows suit with that. We have 8,612 tickets in, 77% of the tickets, 87% of the cash on Houston. Then 54% of the tickets on the over and 79% of cash is on the over, and it has moved to the over. Both teams hit righties, both pitchers pitching well. Take it away here, C-Mac, Guardians, Astros.
Yeah, both teams do. Quantrill is a little bit tough on the road, but one thing, he's an innings eater. And I like this guy a lot. The Astros, yesterday I was with you, Jay. I had them run line. They came through. I don't mind the play again. It's right around even money. They might get the job done. I really, with these pens so good, shockingly, I would look at the first 5 under 4.5, -110, but I might go full game here, just under 8.5. I think both pitchers pitch well. I don't mind Quantrill. I think he can get 6, maybe give up a couple. And I like Javier, especially at home. So I like the under in this spot.
I do too. But big bets have come in on the over, and the market's moved a half run to the over, and that's going to be enough to scare me off. I can't quite. I guess the only angle to quantify is just that both teams hit righties very hard, very well. Other than that, I agree with you. I like both these pitchers, and I love both bullpens. So, are you going to go up against this market move officially right now? You are? Okay.
Yeah, let me come right back to it, but I think I'm going to pull the trigger here.
Okay, so CMAC, we're going to make a move there. We have one game left, then we'll do a review, and we'll be on NBA in 9 minutes. 9:38 p.m. Eastern, Texas Rangers 3-0. Jesus, what a just fucking garbage. Texas Rangers 18-23, 8-11 on the road. At the Angels 27-17, 15-8 at home. Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Look, this has been hurting me at times, but I believe in Glenn Otto, and maybe this is so stupid, but I do think we're going to see a real pitcher he's going to be a legitimate pitcher in the rotation all year long for the Rangers, is what I think from Glenn Otto. Let's go to the Swish Analytics here. We have 76 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 3.5 miles per hour in. It goes up to 5.2. It's in, but it's very light, and it's starting to war. Oh, no, sorry. That's the wrong game. My bad. 67 Fahrenheit at first pitch and 9 miles per hour out. My bad. Sorry. Out to left center, and it drops down to 5.4 by the end of it. And it's still a little bit cooler in Los Angeles. Let's go over to the line history in this game. This is the last one on the board. The Angels opened up at minus 160. They got up to minus 170, back to minus 165, and then back up to minus 170. 10-cent move towards them. And this total opened up 8.5, and it's now minus 120 to the over. Opened up as a pick 'em, so there's been a 10-cent move to the over. We'll take a look at the cash here in this spot. 9,141 tickets in. So I told you the two teams that had full line value, that was the Tigers and the Red Sox. The two teams with half line value, the rest are slivers. The two teams with half line value are the Nationals and the Texas Rangers. 17% of tickets on the Rangers, 23% of cash. Then it's 50-50 on the total, but 99% of cash on the over. So a huge bet has come in on the over here. Glenn Otto coming off a great start. Look, he's had a bad year. It's only 24 and a third innings in, but a great start at Houston in a tough environment. 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 2 Ks, 3 walks. And Reed Detmers at times has looked spectacular, and at other times he's looked a little lost. He looked a little lost in his last start that was at the Rangers. So he's facing these guys again. He went 3 2/3, 3 hits, 2 homers, 4 Ks, and 2 walks. The Rangers are hitting just 228, 689 OPS versus lefties, and the Angels smash righties, 248, 756 OPS. Rangers bullpen 3.66 ERA, 1.27 WHIP has been good. The Angels bullpen has been decent, 3.82 ERA, 1.11 WHIP, have converted 14 of 20 saves. Take it away, CMAC. Last game on the board, Rangers, Angels.
Yeah, that's what I had written down here last night. The Angels just got there with the team total for me. I like Otto too. I think down the line he could be decent. But I think the Angels, this is over or pass here. Now their team total is not much value, the 4.5 minus 125. I think they can get to Detmer. Second straight start. He just gave up 3 runs like he talked about. I watched some of that start. That was right after the no-hitter. I mean, he was just okay. He kind of got through it. 2 walks. Gave up a couple of homers, 3 runs. Now he's facing them again. The Rangers always taking an over with them can be a little painful, but the Angels have been solid here, the over, especially at home. I'm leaning that way strong here to the over. I got all day to kind of look at this one, but I think I'm going to be pulling the trigger on the over, and I will let you know if I bet this.
And Matty Ice saying that Detmers at home is just a different animal. Look at that. I mean,
he's been solid this year at home.
11 2/3 on the road, 11 earned runs. And then at home, I mean, that's where he threw the no-no, 23 innings, 5 earned runs. Opponents hitting 105 off him. I guess it'll and Piker. So shout out to my son who threw a perfect game yesterday. 6 innings pitched, 17 Ks.
Nice.
Jesus, Piker. Congrats, my man. That's
better than Glenn Otto.
Yeah, man. I kind of that would be fun to watch your son destroy. I hope I have that opportunity. I just want to see my son fly on the ice. He doesn't walk anywhere. My son, he runs everywhere he goes.
Yeah,
And,
nice.
and he falls nonstop. Always falling first, with his arms out.
Yeah.
Falling nonstop.
Good.
Falls 30 times a day, I think he's just going to fly on it. Rangers, Angels, I'm interested that you like the over. Clearly, big bets are coming in on the over. The over is getting juiced, and that will keep me off of anything here because I agree with you. I'd like to fade. I kind of like to fade Detmers in the second straight start against the Rangers, especially after being so perfect. But something does seem to change for him at home.
Yeah.
So I will stay off. Now, all of a sudden, I don't have very much action. But let's review action here. Looks like my day is going to get off to a losing start with the Pirates. We didn't make a plan on the Detroit Twins game. Weather's still going to be a problem. It's been pushed back to 2:00. We both moved on the Mets first 5. Both got plus 115 on it. Dodgers, Nats, no action. I'm already on the Padres first 5 minus a half minus 105, and I want more. I want more. I want to get in more on it. I don't want to triple up here, so I've got to decide between the team total over 4 or the Padres minus 1. But it does feel like the Brewers are a little vulnerable here when they go up against the Cardinals tomorrow, and the Padres have the day off tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm joining you here. I want to find the best number for the first 5 minus a half.
First 5 minus.
Because I thought of the team total. I just don't love the and like you said, you'd have to go with a 4 or 4.5 to get plus money. So let me look around, or if somebody can.
Well, let's see what we can get you.
Can get better than 105.
The Padres here. Padres. Let's see what we can get you on the first 5 minus a half. Wow. God, much better number than I got. Plus 106.
Okay. I saw 110, but that was, 2 hours ago.
If anybody can find better, let us know. Make America Great Again's Marlin Rays, first 5 under 3.5. I certainly want to jump on that with you because big Ragu's on it, and I just need
I like the under, and I like the Rays in that game.
Yeah. Well, let's get there in a second. A's, Mariners. I understand why people are moving on the A's first 5. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I like it, though.
Did you want to make that official?
No.
Okay. Cubs.
Pass on the A's today.
Cubs, Reds. We don't want Castillo at this price. And
no way.
Weather issue game, right? Cubs. Let's just go back to that here. Sorry.
Yeah, rain, maybe wind.
Heavy rain. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay, we'll stay off of that. Okay. Then we have Jose Seje play the day's Rays first 5 minus a half minus 112. We have Ragu on that and the first 5 under, and I want in. I'm going to sit and figure out what the best angle is for me, but I want in on this. Is there something you want to make official here?
No, not yet, but I'm going to look at this more.
Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy, I'll let you know.
All right. Okay. Orioles, Yankees, we've stayed off. We talked about the giant market move towards the Orioles. Then the taint play today is Philadelphia, Atlanta, full game under 8.5. And we've stayed off of that spot at this point.
I'm staying off. As much as I like the first 5, these offenses have perked up a little bit. Bray's always at home. Play to the over, but man, that has me tempted the first 5. The 4.5's even money, but I think I'm going to stay off.
Jose's second say-hey play of the day is on the Red Sox team total over 3.5 at plus 107. Red Sox, White Sox, I'm off of that spot. The one that you wanted to circle back to here, there's a couple, but one was the Guardians-Astros game.
Yeah, I'm on the under there. Give me the full game.
Full game under. Let's see what we can get you on this one. Full game under in the Astros-Guardians game. And we have an 8.5. Where is it? Under 8.5.
108.
Minus 106.
106, correct.
Yeah. It says 108 when you start on the page, but when you click on it, it moves to minus 106. So CMAC under 8.5 at minus 106 here in Guardians Astros. Rangers, Angels, Otto, Detmers, I am staying off. So then when I go back to look at my action here, I don't have much, and I'm gonna move on the Marlins Rays game, and I'm gonna bet more on the Padres. Wow,
Okay.
I'm surprised. So I have the Mets still. Wow, God, okay, that's not very much action, but you know what? All that matters is winning. Winning, C-Mac, what you've been doing a great job of on this show. Thank you so much for joining us, my man. Get that cash. If you want to add anything,
I
tag
will.
me.
I
And
will.
you, what's next for you this week? You have Say Hey tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be with Jose on Friday.
On
and
Friday.
then I'll have prize picks for the golf. I'll show up later today.
Oh, sweet. Okay, sweet. So prize picks.
5 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, just 10, 15 minutes to go over my the golf looks for prize picks.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. CT Bay says, what is the taint play today? It is at under 8.5 in Phillies Braves that has moved to 9 since then. It's moved to 9.
Yeah, I like it, Matty Ice. I mean, I like it.
I have been brainstorming a couple Vegas things here that I'm going to pitch to you over the next couple weeks, C-Mac.
Okay.
I have a couple ideas.
Cool.
About Las Vegas, so we can all hang out together. Much love, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Migga Mac in the house. You have any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Oh, shout out to the chat. Much respect. Everyone in here. CT Bays. Great info today, my guy. Vinny, Matty Ice. Goddamn. Got me thinking about that under, as I thought last night. Eric Jones, everybody. Real Deal Prime, a Grinder. Paul. Seamus. Dennis Garcia. There he is, DG. Shout out to everyone. Appreciate you having me on here, Jimmy. Thanks, my man.
Oh, our pleasure. There he is, Matty. I'm looking at Matty Ice's action. Matty Ice says neither team hit either pitcher, wind blowing in, and umpires 1-6 to the under in taint. C-Mac joining us. What a great capper he is. Thank you so much. Migda Mac, Daddy, coming to us live from Las Vegas, Nevada. We go from Las Vegas, Nevada to Los Angeles, California. And something happens when this man joins our show. His ROI skyrockets, and we love it. Please welcome to break down East Finals Game 5 and talk about Game 5 in the Mavericks Warriors series. Please welcome Derl Rice. It's Derl, baby.
Yo, what's good, brother? What is good? Another good day, man. Any day on this side of the grass is a good day. I always say that, man. We are talking ball as usual, Jimmy. We've been winning, man.
We have been.
We've been
Especially
fucking winning, bro. Yeah, hey. It is what it is. Like I said, I only do good on this show. So maybe I shouldn't just bet, bro. But on Wednesdays and Fridays. I don't even do good on Thursdays. Like, goddamn. Just Wednesdays and Fridays. So I think I need to do that. So yeah, respect and love to everyone in the chat, man. I see y'all. And Jimmy, it is time to talk some shooty hoops.
Let's talk those shooty hoops. We already have Jojo Rich on Celtics money line, Dennis Garcia on Miami money line, and we want to all talk about Celtics Heat, but we have to start off. We must start off with your take from the Mavericks game last night, which I cashed on. I'm back in double-digit units, and I look. Obviously, I believe in the squad. I've taken them on the money line in Game 5 at plus 270. And I know that I'll be all alone. I also thought that line I'm not going to get. And it's moved to 250. And so I've got it. So now I'm going to start doing that every time. Every time I see a line where I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I just got to bet it right away. I just got to trust the instinct, trust the instinct. Take it away or talk to us about what you thought about in Game 4 and what are your expectations in Game 5, because you won't be on the show with us. So we'd love to hear. Take it away.
Yeah. So, I mean, we knew this, right? Once they won Game 3, everybody and their mom should have bet Dallas Game 4. We knew this, right? It makes it easier to win Game 5 at home. You don't have to worry about traveling or anything like that. I'm telling you right now, man, if you did not bet Dallas yesterday to win that damn game, you were just either being contrarian, you know what I'm saying, or really thought that Warriors had a chance. You just read the damn tea leaves, bro. That game, you want me to tell you, I was so confident that Dallas would win, man. I didn't even really watch the game. I just kind of peeked back and forth with it, to be honest. And it was something that really, it was Dre who said it. Dre said this in the Memphis series. He talked about the game not really being an issue, right? It's just that plane ride. Getting your stuff packed up to get on a plane and getting unpacked and getting prepped and all that stuff just takes a lot out of your day. And I think with Dallas, it's going to hurt them more to get on a plane, go to Golden State and try to win another game. And Golden State, all they have to do is win and then just go chill, right? To me, this is more of NBA manipulation. This is what I call NBA. This is why people wear tinfoil hats sometimes, because it is the NBA needs to make money, right? And you don't make money if you have sweeps in the NBA, especially this late in the season now. So if you know you can beat a squad, and the stats say that no team has ever come down from 3 games, right? 3-0. And you see Steve Kerr playing rookies in the 4th, right? You see him pulling the starters with like 8, 7, 9 minutes left or whatever. Those are all telling that they didn't give 2 shits about that game. It wasn't that they were making their shots, because Dallas did make their shots yesterday. It was the fact that that closeout defense was some Bush League shit. They weren't even trying to get out. They weren't even trying to fight against picks and really be aggressive, man. It was just, you could just tell this was a game that they did not care about. They would oblige the NBA. You keep the game going for another game or keep the series going for another game. And it's just one of those things to where, honestly, this is just more NBA manipulation, and getting another game to get more revenue. We're already hearing it that the NBA, there's no close games as is, right? They're all blowouts, right? So this is just one of these things to where it's part of the game. And that is the manipulating of the whistle, the manipulating of essentially, the whole series itself. If you know you could beat a team at home and you're up 3-0, you can let a game get away. And so that's what happened. That's just, like I said, it's more tinfoil hat theory. But at the same token, if you just looked at the writing on the wall, they were telling you. We had an awful shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Kerr didn't even talk about the game. His mind was more on politics and passing, this bill for universal background checks. So you could just tell, man, that they had no problem throwing this game at all. They had no problem even not playing this game. You had leaks in the damn roof, you know what I'm saying? So you had an extended halftime. It was just, man, I'm telling you right now, they could care less about this game, and that shouldn't mean anything on them going to Golden State and closing it at home. And the line tells you that. That's a large line. I think it's -7.5, right?
Move to 7.
Yeah. Nah. The games they're blowouts. That's what's happening, right? So if you like the Warriors, just jump on them. I don't see Dallas even trying to make a comeback, especially in Golden State. No, not at all. They will not win another game. It's the gentleman's sweep here, and it's one of those things to where Golden State, if you watch the first 2 games with Golden State, this is the problem when you have the lack of size, in which Kevin Looney makes that up. Even though Golden State does play a version of small ball, Draymond Green has a 7-foot arm span, right? So he's a small guy, but he can reach in, he can grab boards. They got beat at the offensive boards. And Golden State actually did this to Memphis, and Memphis has big guys. So you don't have any pressure on the inside, right? And so now you got 3 lethal shooters. Did you see that they were doubling Steph even on his bad games? So you got Poole, who's going to shoot. You got Kevon Looney, who we took his props in that hit, right? Who can get you boards and kick it back out. You got Draymond Green, who's an assist king. You got Clay, who comes alive in the second half, but he's still a threat to be reckoned with. And you got Steph Curry, the GOAT of 3-point shooting. And then you got Wiggins, who's single-handedly taking Luka out when he wants to. So I just honestly believe that it's just one of these things to where when they really put on their A game, they will smack the shit out of Denver. So I don't think it's going to go back, or not Denver, I'm sorry, Dallas. They will smack the shit out of Dallas. So if you ask me, if Dallas is going to come in and win game 5 in Golden State with the body of work that they've put up, I don't think so at all.
is the 7 comfortable for you to take the Warriors?
Absolutely. Absolutely. These games have just been blowouts. They've just been blowouts. So it's moved down a hook. I don't know if that's really just to try to get more money on the side. All the books, and I'm starting to learn this. All the books just want to break even, right? But 7.5. You know, I don't know why it would go down a hook, but you know, for me, if you're maybe just based upon yesterday's performance, but look at that game again. They made shots, correct, but a lot of these shots weren't even contested. They weren't even kicking out, man. They really weren't. The rotations were off. Some of these guys were just left wide open. Reggie Bullock was finally making shots as he could. Maxi Kleber was making shots as he could. But there was just, I mean, talk about the space that they had to shoot those shots. Completely different than what you'll see in Game 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you speak a lot of truth, no doubt about that. And, you know, they're big favorites for a reason. I just think that the one thing about the Mavs is they have absolutely no pressure on them.
No.
And nothing to lose whatsoever. And that is freeing. And so it allows them to go into San Francisco where the Warriors are going to take care of business. Everyone knows they're going to take care of business. Everyone, you know, and then it's just a nice place to be in when you can just go out there with no weight on your shoulders and just play. And who cares if you lose? You're expected to lose. And you haven't embarrassed yourself because you're not getting sweep. We call it gentleman's sweep, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I do think that I still believe that the best player on the floor is on the Mavericks. And when that is the situation, anything can happen. And I'm only saying that, you know, obviously Steph
may
is
be, Jimmy,
spectacular.
but it's matchups. It's just matchups. And
No,
this
and
is a bad matchup for him.
Yeah. The cast behind Luka is much worse than the cast behind Steph.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if that's how you're feeling about it, then this is how they should have started the series then. You know, house money from game 1, in my opinion, right? With Dallas and how you say Dallas is just playing freely. They have nothing to lose. It seems if they would have, it almost feels like they had played that way and it didn't work, right? They were playing that the first 2 games. The game that really mattered, honestly, was game 3 that they lost. And it was like, yo, okay, we need to get our shit together. You know, like we really, really tried. We know that they handled their business at home, in which you're supposed to do. All athletes are going to tell you, well, if I lose at their house, well, they're supposed to win. But when they lost game 3 at their own home, I think that was a wake-up call.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited that the series has been extended, so we get another game. And I love your breakdowns. So let's move on to the East Finals Game 5. Celtics Heat. We've seen a wild zigzag in this series. And Ron Crawford just dropped the spreadsheet play today on the Boston Celtics. We're at FTX Arena here. Celtics were just 23-18 on the road during the regular season. Let's jump in and talk about the line history and where the cash is, and then just a brief breakdown before we hand it over to our guy, Derl. So we have the Celtics opening up at -1. This was after the last game finished, so it was at 11:47 p.m. on Monday night. Within 15 minutes, they were -1.5. Then this morning at 8:26, they moved to 2. And then 40 minutes ago, they moved to 2.5. So a 1.5 move towards the Celtics. From a money line perspective, it was 5-cent increments from -115 to -140. If you woke up this morning, they were -125. So there's been 5-cent increments at 9:49 a.m., 12:47 p.m., and 12:56 p.m. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 203.5 at 8:45 in the morning and moved up a half point to 204. Dennis Garcia says Miami money line. Nasty Nate went back to the Celtics trifecta. Sammy Comer says must win for Miami. It's Miami or nothing. LJ says if Marcus Smart, Robert Williams plays, Celtics will win. North Ender says, what are these COVID rumors on the Heat? I've looked it up, and I can't find any. So I did look it up when it was mentioned in the chat by our guy MDR. I couldn't find anything, so I don't know what to make of it at this point. All right, let's move over to where the cash is in this spot. 18,763 tickets in. A little surprising that there's just 18,763 tickets in. I'm sure that will balloon up to 75,000 or 80 at some point. 33% of the tickets on the Heat and 37% of the cash. Market moving away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Then 76% of tickets on the over, but just 56% of cash on that over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Vipe. It's all good, my man. Great to see you. Oh, North Ender. Sorry, North Ender. Good to see you, my man. And JPZ says, if this is true, isn't this a Heat blowout? The pace is not much of an issue in this series. They're playing at 94.88 possessions a game, which is pretty close to what they both played at. Now, the Heat played at the second or third slowest pace in the league during the regular season, and the same during the playoffs, 93.8 during the playoffs. So they sped up a tiny bit, one possession a game. The Celtics played at 97.26 in the regular season, 96.13 in the playoffs, so that's not a big issue. These games have been huge double-digit winning margins in 3 of these 4 games. It feels like when Jimmy Butler is on, the Heats win. When Jason Tatum is on, the Celtics win.
Yeah.
If either of them have an off night, their team is doomed. Tatum had an off night in game 3 of 14 shooting. Celtics lose. Tatum 24.3 points per game in the series, 6.8 rebounds, 5 assists. In the 15 games in the playoffs, he has higher numbers than that. With Butler, 41 points when they opened the series with a victory, 14 points combined in the 2 games at Boston, 6 of 22 shooting. I know that he's dealing with injuries. We'll talk about his injuries here in a second. But at home, Butler is just a different animal. In 7 home games this year, he's only gone under 21 points once. So game 5, Miami, zigzag theory. Do we expect Butler to show that he's the best player on the floor? Both teams were without big pieces. No Tyler Hero for the Heat. And the Celtics didn't have Marcus Smart.
Didn't need him.
But now they're on the road. So we'll talk about whether, so left groin strain for Tyler Hero. I've been told that that's 2 to 4 weeks he needs off, and he's trying to get himself in the game. We still have Kyle Lowry with a left hamstring strain. Both of those guys are listed as questionable as of early this morning. And they also have PJ Tucker with left knee Strus with right hamstring strain, Gabe Vincent with hamstring strain. They're all expected to be there. Jimmy Butler is not on the injury report. Robert Williams' left knee soreness is also a questionable. And Derek White filled in for Smart. Is that something that we expect to continue? And Grant Williams has looked very good with Time Lord out. The floor is yours. Take it away here, Derl. Celtics.
Yeah. Just, I'm going to tell you now, I don't give a fucking shit about this game.
Wow.
But I know we do have to play it here. I mean, it's the only game, right? So this is where I got to find money. And the reason why is because, A, the zigzag theory is alive and well, especially in this series, right? It's a win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. The most consistent has been the over on this game, or in the series, rather. It's only been 1 under and 3 overs, right? So if you're just going to look at the trend itself, you look at the over on this game still. With Kyle Lowry playing, he does speed up the game a little bit, right? He will make half-court passes. He will get the ball on the other side of the court. But there's no shooting here. There's no shooting at all. Jimmy's not 100%. And Jimmy probably hasn't even touched the ball since he's been off the court, right? Because when you have Nate saying, take the trifecta. When you have a swollen knee like that, the only thing you can do is stay off it. There isn't anything you can do. So no shoot around, no practice. You're watching, and so the next time you're going to get on the court is when it's time to play, right? No, Tyler Hero hurts your death because he's that guy that gives you open shots. So now you get Duncan Robinson in the game who doesn't have the best defense. This is why Spoles has really been sitting him. You know, you paid him a shit ton of money, but his defense is still not there, right? You got PJ Tucker, who's your best defender, possibly hurt, or possibly won't play. Kyle Lowry hurt. Jimmy Butler hurt. So all the important people are hurt. All the important people that's going to make a difference here, and we talk about how deep Miami is, they're hurt. So even if they're going to play, they're not playing at 100%. And this is why you saw Jimmy stink up the building, right? I believe this is a Boston side, but you are in Miami, and we know Miami plays better at home. They play better at home. So what I had seen from Al Horford and Time Lord on how they really shut down Bam Adebayo, who you would think that, you know, he should be able to carry this team on his back, bro. And Bam is just getting shut down. Just getting shut down. So if you're going to, probably the better plays would be to look at props here. So look at Victor Oladipo's points because he's going to get them. Look at his threes because he should have at least 3 threes today, right? But this is one of these games to where you have to really, really just wait for the official injury report to come out and tell you what's happening. Me personally, I promised myself, and this happened, Jimmy, because of last Friday. I'm not touching the Boston Miami Heat series because I'm either behind the zigzag, or you don't know if the zigzag stops and then Boston's able to take over. You know, to give somebody a little bit of steam on the Miami end, Jaylen Brown, I mean, that you don't know what you're going to get out of him. Jason Tatum has played good games altogether, but they're able to win these games without Smart, right? So look at some of the more support casts to show up, you know, cast members. Look at Victor Oladipo. Look at Gabe Vincent. Look at Derek White, who his son was just born, so maybe, you know, that gives him a little boost. He went out there and he played. I think that last game, he had the first, 7 points. You know, in the first quarter, he was like 3 for 3 right at the beginning, making his shots. So this is one of these things to where I couldn't play aside because if it is a zigzag theory in effect here, then Miami should win, right? So this has been tried and proven that it's win-loss, win-loss. So what do you do here, right? Do you just continue to stay on the zigzag train here? Or do you just think what you saw out of Miami last game was their best? They're hurt. They're not going to get any better. And Boston should just win the remaining games. And I kind of steered towards the latter. Like, I think Boston should be able to win the rest of these games here. I honestly believe that. So for me, I don't have a confident side here. I don't have a confident side. I did not make a play on this game. I did not make a play on the last game. And you see what happened. So I probably will look more into props, and I would think that Victor Oladipo has a good position to make some points tonight, as well as Derek White.
Is there anything that you want to make, and you don't have to, because I know that you're very close to finishing the year at 60%. Is there anything you want to make official? You don't have to.
How much money is on the over?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because when you were talking about all the best defenders being hurt, it made me think that, you know, the over was a legitimate possibility. The problem is, as it's gone up a half point, the big bets are still on the under. 24% of the tickets are on the under, but 44% of the cash. That's with 19,065 tickets calculated. Yeah,
you can't tell me that it's going to be an 18-1 first quarter by 6 minutes left, half of the first quarter, right? They were just outright not making any shots. Outright not making any shots whatsoever. These first quarters can get high. The game before that first quarter, 39-18, right? So that's 57 points right there. First quarter in game 2, 35-24. And then the one that I had lost, 25-28. So they should be in the 50s, right? So their first quarter spread now is 49.5 points. That seems like that would be a play. I can't force anything until I look deeper at these numbers. I would feel comfortable making a prop play. So right now I'm looking at Victor Oladipo, and he's just got 12.5 points, and that's juice to the over.
Yeah, why don't we do a little line shopping on Vic for you to see what FanDuel is dropping, and also
Bam is juice to the over. PJ Tucker is at plus money. Jimmy Butler, even 25, is at plus money. That should tell you something. Gabe Vincent should be able to give you 6.5 points. Oladipo at 12.5, and that's going to be your score. Give me a line for Oladipo and give me a line for Gabe Vincent, and I'll tell you if I could play. Because right now, the most confident play I would have is the over in Gabe and Victor Oladipo. But other than that, I couldn't look at a side on this.
Oladipo's at 12.5 points. Gabe Vincent's at 6.5. Oladipo, this is at FanDuel. I'll check another site too. Oladipo is a pick'em. Gabe Vincent is slightly juiced to the under. Let's see what Bet365 is doing here for player props. Let's go to points here. Here we have. Wow. They don't have either. They don't have either here. Surprising. So yeah, that's what we have at FanDuel. 12.5 and 6.5.
Gabe has been the most consistent with. Yeah, I'm not going to force it, but I think I'm going to give you Oladipo and or Gabe Vincent points. It's going to be one of the two or possibly both, but right now I can't make a confident play on this. I've been behind the 8 ball on this zigzag. So I told myself that if anybody in the chat has even a more consistent play than how this series is going, let me know. 7.5 points. But is he questionable at all? Or I know he limped off the court.
He's questionable.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they're all going to play. Yeah, so that's a good point that Chris is saying too. So yeah, man, my whole thing is this is a zigzag series. Now, maybe it has stopped because these guys are just too worn down. So Boston should win this game and then end it at home. Right? But I can't get a gauge on the series, to be honest with you. I really can't. Nate saying Celtics and over as a teaser.
Will you move if you move on the props, you will tag me so I can.
Yeah, I'll tag you. I'll get close to Oladipo because that is a good point. If it's juiced to the over, then probably he's going to get a lot of the playing time, a lot of the scoring, which would be a repeat of last game.
Right? And did you want to make the Warriors tomorrow night official, or you want to see if more?
Absolutely.
You do.
Absolutely. I'm not afraid of that number. I'm not afraid of that number at all. There's no way the Warriors are going to want to get on a plane, go back home, and play another game. No way. And they're going to absolutely want to end it if Boston wins tonight.
Yeah.
They're going to absolutely want to end it. So, yeah, give me that. Is that 7 right now?
It is.
Yeah, that'll change. That will definitely change.
The market's still moving towards moving to 6.5 at this point. I don't know if it will, but it's moving that way. The -7 is at -104.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, Warriors -7, -104 for Derl tomorrow.
I mean, these guys were like, maybe they were just playing around, right? I mean, somebody would probably have to explain how that fourth quarter went. They put up 40 points in the fourth quarter, 39 points in the fourth quarter, got like a lead down to 8, bro. They got that lead was like what, almost 30 points at the beginning of the fourth, and they got it down to like 8. Kerr decided to bring his starters back in just to kind of show, okay, maybe we could do something here. Had a couple of looks, and then Bullock hits that amazing corner 3 to bring it back up to 10 or 13 rather. And it's like, okay, that's it. Right. But they got that down to 8. So you can't tell me that they can't score at any given time. That third quarter blitz is alive and well. You saw that happen on last Saturday. That's how you knew Dallas had their soul taken on what happened on last Friday. That's how you knew their soul was taken, when they had that third quarter blitz and they came back and beat Dallas. So yeah, I'm with it, man. Give me Golden State Warriors. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. You ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
Wow. You thought it wasn't coming. You thought
it's coming. It's coming. It is here. It's alive and well. And I got to, you know what? I got to do it now, because provided I wait tomorrow, they're going to end up losing, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let me do this shit right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I just happen to win on this show. So yeah.
I love it. I love it, Derl. We will see you back on Friday for game 6 of this series. And we love having you, man. We love having you.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'll tag you. I think I'm going to move on Depot. I just want to see if there's really, it's these, everybody's questionable, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like on RotoWire, it's just dumb. RotoWire has every single person on the Heat is a game time decision except for Butler and Bam.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Celtics. Everybody's a game time decision or out except for Brown, Tatum, and Horford. So
right.
Playoffs.
Yeah. Let's see what this noon injury report is, if that changes. But if they're out, then yeah, maybe I'll have my book open so I can smack Depot early, you know. But I think that's the way to go. It's already juiced, but I think that you might get a better number if everybody's in, right? Maybe it might go down a point or so. So I'll wait on that. But Depot might be the way to go. If not, Gabe Vincent.
I love it, Derl. Thank you for rolling with us. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Hey man, enjoy yourselves. It is hump day. Go hump on somebody.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Follow our man on Twitter at It's Derl. All right, let's review all action here. And I got my day off looks like a losing start. 4-2 Rock. Yeah, it's going to be a losing start, but it's not official yet. And then I don't have a ton of action in MLB. Either does CMAC. So I have next up, we both have the Mets first 5 plus 115. Dodgers, Washington, no action. I'm going to move harder on this Padres game. I'm already on the first 5 minus a half. I'm going to move more on it. I believe in the spot, and I don't have a ton of action, so I'm going to move harder on it. And then I want to be involved with Jose and Big Ragu's action on the Marlins Rays. So unders and Rays. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to move on it. And then Matty Ice play today's Philadelphia, Atlanta, full game under 8.5. Jose's also on the Red Sox team total over 3.5 at plus 107. C-Max on the under 8.5 in Cleveland, Houston, and Ron Crawford's on Houston -1. And then there's Rangers Angels, so not a ton of action there. And then in NBA, Derl's on the Warriors -7 tomorrow, and maybe in the spreadsheet play today is Boston Celtics on the money line. In NHL, Mr. Gogster's on the over 6.5 from both teams to score. I just want the Avalanche to win so that I've got the Avalanche and Lightning sitting there moving on to the conference finals and each put me in a great, great situation. So I'm very excited about that opportunity, but I don't have a lot of action tonight, which is fine. I can focus more on tomorrow's work. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. We have no show without you guys. Joe Yurkovich, Tatum MVP -135 says, if that's the best line, it's the best bet. Tatum MVP. A Real Deal Prime Cashman 19 says Rangers look better. Yeah. I don't know if the Rangers look better or the Hurricanes aren't that good. I don't know. I'm very interested in the series, and I want it to go as long as possible because I'll win playoff pools if the Rangers advance, or at least go 7, I think. Going 7 is a little tighter. But we will see. Yeah, Look at the Hurricanes. I mean, Hurricanes have a chance to go to the conference final without winning a road game. I don't know if that's been done before. I would love to find out. Make America Great Again. Cashman 19 rants. Vinny, Joe Yurkovich, Lamont Williams, Mark Schillingberg, MDR 24. Colorado Pittsburgh over 7.5 last night was a quick play. Smart work there. Joe Rich, North Ender, Matty Ice, Jeffrey Schutzky says, what happens if Miami loses? They go to Boston 3-2. Don't think Heat want that. The game is the game they must win. Every Heat player will play, says Jeffrey. James S., Max Swelly, Robert Franklin, Christopher Carter, Lowell, Nasty Nate. Thank you guys all so much for your support.
McJesus, baby! We're going to the Cup! I can't wait! He's getting a Gretzky!
Fucking boo. Don't forget, we have big shows coming up today at 3:10 p.m. Sharpie has the Balking Dead Prize Picks MLB show. Then at 4 p.m. NBA Pub Hub. At 5 p.m. Prize Picks Golf show with Conor Mac. At 5:30 p.m. we have the Say Hey play of the day. Get that fucking cash. Leche. Hey, Los bookmakers. Milk that shit.